where the get-together was happening.
That's when I saw it.
Oh, no.
Okay, so over 46% of people in monogamous relationships cheat.
Which means it's either you or your partner.
So we're going to share the 4 worst cheating stories.
So you can avoid these situations.
Each story is going to get a lot crazier, and we're going to start with story number 4.
My cousin is marrying a cheater who has a secret child, but there's something they don't know.
More than the cheating and more than the secret child.
My 32 female cousin, 34 female, Victoria is a doctor and is engaged to another doctor. Victor, 35 male. Wow, Victor and Victoria. That's kind of hilarious.
Try being original.
Yeah, beep bomb. Victor and Victoria have been engaged for 2 years now and are finally getting married.
2 years is somewhat long of an engagement, right?
It's becoming normal, but
Is it normal?
I think so.
What's the point of asking someone to marry you if you're not going to marry them?
The wedding is planned for this Saturday, religious, civil, and reception. All of the
Okay.
events. They have a friend in common, another doctor, Emily, 34 female, who's going to be a bridesmaid. You can guess where I'm going.
I can't guess yet.
But I see you in the comments if you know before saying. This past Friday, Victoria had her bachelorette and we left the city to have a spa day and then returned to the city to go to the party to this fancy club. But we never made it to the club. We returned from the spa town to Emily's home before getting changed to go to the party. At some point, Victoria, the bride-to-be, announced that she was feeling sick and locked herself in the bathroom. My first thought, obviously, was that she ate something that didn't sit well with her. Roughly an hour later, I managed to coax her out and she asked me to take her home. I'm meant to be the maid of honor, so taking care of her falls to me.
Okay.
I called the Uber and took her to my place, and then she told me everything.
Okay.
When we were dressing, she was in the kitchen and she saw a notification from her fiance on Emily's phone. She'd left it to charge there. At first, she thought it was a surprise planned for her, which makes sense, like coordinating something. But then another message came in with a more romantic tone, and another one. That's when she got sick and ran to the bathroom.
While you are getting ready to be married,
Yep.
maybe it's super hot.
Listen, what if all the bridesmaids, all of the groomsmen do it all together?
Do it all together.
Hey,
One
a big old
Okay, but basically not an open relationship. This is bad.
Cheating. I stayed with her through Friday evening and most of Saturday. Saturday evening, I dropped her at her place and she made me promise I wouldn't say a word to anyone. Low key, I wonder if she's planning on telling him that she knows at a certain place at a certain time.
Oh, like you bitch, like right in front of everyone.
What if? Do you take this man to be your husband?
No,
Actually-
he's a cheating whore. That would slap.
Oh, okay. I agreed because I thought she wanted to end things on her own terms. Sunday and Monday were silent and everything seemed to be moving forward. Today, Tuesday, was our makeup trial, just the two of us, and she told me what happened with her fiance, Victor. Victoria told him nothing and waited for him to fall asleep. She unlocked his phone and checked it in the bathroom. She found the conversation with Emily's messages and began to read back to the top. They've been together for 6 months and she is pregnant. They don't have a baby together, but him and Emily do.
Oh my God.
She's urging Victor not to marry Victoria and marry her, Emily, instead.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Victoria took a bunch of screenshots, but only showed me the one where Emily told Victor she was pregnant and a few of the ones where she begs him not to marry my cousin. I begged her again to cancel everything and tell our family why, but she insisted there's going to be a wedding and that I should trust her. I'm scared of her. How do I stop her? Okay, so
Stop her doing what?
stop her from doing the wedding. So we have an update coming up, but it seems like OP is getting kind of like afraid of what Victoria wants to do. Like she's afraid she's plotting something potentially super sinister, I think.
Like how sinister? Like murder or like revealing the truth in front of
at the whole
everyone?
wedding. I feel like that would be fire.
I think it is deserved.
Yeah.
But like, if you do something like that, you're forever attached to that too. Like, I would never want to be associated with that much drama.
Yeah, just like end it, and then you tell everyone like, oh yeah, he got my bridesmaid pregnant.
Yeah.
And like very matter of fact,
Yeah.
like I ended the relationship, he cheated
But I
and
wouldn't
got my
do
bridesmaid
something
pregnant.
like all like, fanfare in front of everyone.
But it would be so fire though.
It would be crazy. And
But-
so I'm hoping in this story, that's what happens.
Well, we have the update.
Give it to me. Give me that update.
Oh, Victoria convinced her dad and 2 other cousins to go with Victor, his dad, and groomsmen to go camping on Thursday and Friday as a men's thing. Okay. She also asked me to visit her on Friday with a friend who is a vet. He has a horse trailer for his horse only, so she asked us to bring that too, if it's clean and unoccupied. Victor and Victoria moved in together when they became engaged, so she's moving out her things. She also said those 2 are ending up happy together over my dead body.
So,
Or maybe more than one.
it doesn't seem like she's over it.
Which is fair.
Very fair.
The wedding plans are moving as usual. The plan is to take out her things on Friday and on Saturday morning. The bride's side gets ready at the apartment. Victor returns to his parents' house Friday evening, and he's getting ready there on Saturday morning. Those who were guessing revenge were right.
Yep, I am ready to sip this tea.
And I'm going to make a post on Sunday to tell you the rest of it. Okay, everyone right now, everyone watching, Sam and Riley, what is your prediction to how she's going to
what would be the revenge? And also, what revenge would you enact if you were in this place?
Yes.
So what I think she's doing, I think she's planning the Shrek, I object, I know what you did, let me tell everyone the dirty skank that you are. So I think that's what she's planning. What I would do is I would just not go to the wedding, tell him, I know what you did, we're done. And then whenever it came up, just say the truth.
On to the update. My uncle, dad, and a bunch of cousins took Victor, his dad, and the groomsmen to a town a couple hours away next to the camping park. This was Thursday afternoon, and after they left, I went to pick up Victoria, and she spent the night at my place. The next morning, my friend, let's call him Jack, came by with his horse trailer and a bunch of boxes. We spent the day packing and cleaning out every trace of Victoria from that apartment. The rental contract is under Victor's name, so Victoria won't be affected by leaving.
Get wrecked.
That's good. That's good. We loaded everything on Jack's trailer, which wasn't much because the furniture belonged to Victor, but it was all of her books, clothing, toiletries, shoes, etc. We only left the wedding items behind, which that is kind of a good calling card. Like, hey, I took everything except the dress and the flowers and everything.
Wow.
He was going to be waiting for us at the back of the venue because Victoria didn't want to stay after she was done with Victor.
Yep.
I also caught Jack loosening a few of the light bulbs at random just to mess with Victor.
That's funny. So like some of the lights just don't work.
He hates cheaters. Yeah. That is a good little mind game.
That's pretty funny.
Victoria's things are currently sitting in Jack's office, and Victoria again came to sleep at my place. For this, Victoria had asked me to buy and wrap for a present a pair of baby's shoes, which I kept until the reception.
That feels like a burglar's calling card.
Oh, it's
like
I respect it.
Yeah.
Saturday morning shows up and we left early for the apartment to get ready. The makeup artist and stylist arrive. My aunt arrives and all of the bridesmaids, including Emily.
Oh my God.
Then we, the maid of honor and the bridesmaids, finished before the bride, and I send them downstairs to the building lobby so we can surprise them with the finished look of Victoria. After she was ready, we went downstairs and the elevator doors opened. My eyes went straight to Emily. The other girls were all celebrating and clapping and hugging Victoria. It was just seconds, but I saw her face fell and her eyes get shiny before she composed herself and hugged everyone, pretending to be happy. God. We all took a picture in the garden across the street from the building and then headed out to the church. We met the rest of the wedding party there. We do the groom's first look, the pictures, all that jazz. Victoria sent everyone inside to take places and asks me and Emily to come with her to this little chapel outside to fix something in Emily's dress. We're getting there. We're getting there, ladies and gentlemen.
Getting to the home run.
That's when Victoria dropped the bomb on Emily. This I am quoting and translating from the video I took, which I absolutely won't share. Victoria, I'm glad you're here, and I brought you here, Emily, to tell you that I know all about the affair of yours and my fiance. I know you're pregnant, and it's Victor's. I've known since Friday evening. Emily, what are we gonna do? Why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you do anything? Victoria, because I wanted us to reach this point. When you see me as a bride about to marry the man you say is the love of your life, to make sure that you know and understand, there's no way, even being pregnant with his baby, he's going to choose you over me. That he wants you for fun and he wants me for his life.
Oh, that is fucking brutal.
Cold. And you kind of got to give it to her. She didn't do it like at the chapel and like make a whole thing of it.
Dude, I'm getting chills.
Bro, that was this.
Damn, bro, that's cold-blooded.
After that, Emily said she was sorry and ran crying out of the chapel and the church. She was pale and very upset, and I have no idea where she is, and I don't care much. Victoria almost broke down too, but I left her to calm down and want to tell the rest of the bridal party that she needed a moment. That Emily felt ill and left, and Victoria got nervous because of it. I went back in with Victoria. I helped fix a little makeup and hair that was out of place, and we went back to the party, and the wedding went on. Just as planned.
Continued?
It's still going for now.
Still going.
Just as planned. Religious wedding first, then the civil wedding, and then to the reception. I noticed Victor counting the bridesmaids a couple of times, but I said nothing. Yeah, he's like, looks like Emily's out of here, so who's gonna be next? You know, I gotta get one of Hopi's other eligible lady bachelors. We arrive at the venue. Everyone sits. The bride and the groom are presented to everyone. There's clapping, the meal starts, and at the end of the meal, when toasts are to come, Victoria drops bomb number 2.
Toast at the toast. She's doing it at the toast.
She stands up and asks me for the little gift box. Again, I'm quoting and translating from the video I took.
Oh my God.
Victoria, thank you all for being here with Victor and I, for coming to celebrate our wedding, our families, and our friends. As some of you have noticed, one of my bridesmaids, Emily, is not here right now. At the mention of Emily, Victor's smile fell off. Victoria, but I don't want her absence to ruin the party. I prepared a little surprise for my husband, Victor. Then she hands him the little box. He was trembling as he opened it up and took out little baby shoes. I could see faces start to light up, thinking Victoria was pregnant. Victor was pale as drywall. Victoria, and I want to congratulate him because even when I won't become a mom, he will become a dad of Emily's baby.
Oh,
bro.
Oh,
she's got the juice.
Dude, I would be like, if I was Victor, I would be shitting my pants. I would cry and run. Dude, I would cry and run.
My God. The silence afterwards was absolutely terrifying. But we didn't stay to see the aftermath of everyone understanding what had just happened. We left through the kitchen and got into Jack's car without the trailer now and left. Victoria sent the screenshots revealing the pregnancy and the cheating to the family groups, ours and Victoria's, the wedding planning group, and their work group from the hospital. We're in another city in the next state now. We sent a message to our families that we're fine and that we've turned off the phones. I'm only taking this little time to do the much promised update. We will see what tomorrow brings.
Wow. I think that was some of the most like nuclear revenge that we've seen.
And like, I would say,
well thought out too.
Well thought out because I mean, like, look, she was insanely wronged. So, but there are options that could be, you know, potentially too nuclear. So maybe this is the question for everyone watching.
Did she go too far?
Did she go too far?
Did she go far enough?
Did she go far enough?
I feel like she definitely went far enough, right?
I think she went far enough. Yeah. But did she go too far?
I don't know. I don't know if I would ever do something like that.
I think personally I wouldn't, but like
I don't think she's an asshole necessarily for that.
Think about this too. Yeah. Like I don't think she's an asshole. Victor had all the chance in the world to tell her all of this before the wedding, right?
He didn't.
Because and he like went along with marrying her, which is like a huge, like she deserves that honesty that he never gave her. You know? Of course. So his clock kind of ran out. And it's like, well, the ball's in my court now, buddy.
And I am going to swing for the fences.
I'm going to Michael Jordan windmill slam dunk and break the backboard on your ass.
Yeah, that backboard is
Stop it.
Because I mean, that's a video. I hope it's posted somewhere.
She said she's at all caps, absolutely not sharing.
But it's not posted anywhere, you think?
I mean, if she didn't want to share it on here, she definitely probably doesn't want to share it.
She shared it on the family group. So you think like...
They shared the screenshots.
Oh, right. They didn't
proving that it was cheating. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to know what you guys think. Like,
yeah.
Did she go far enough or did she go too far? Put your answers in the comment.
But you know what's not going too far, Sam?
Reading this next story.
Yeah, baby.
Let's go. My dad is having an affair, and now my parents are blaming me for it.
Really? Blaming the child?
Yeah, I mean, the child was hooking up with the dad, though. Just kidding. Today, I experienced the definition of F around and find out.
Okay.
Some backstory. Almost a year ago, my family experienced the loss of my grandpa, my dad's father. He started having more emotional outbursts, being more reclusive, etc., and we tried our best to be understanding and help him in any way he needed. He found himself a therapist and seemed to be working through a lot of his feelings and thoughts. He still wasn't acting entirely like him, but death affects everyone differently, and this made his behavior easy to excuse.
Right, using it.
Just because you're dying doesn't mean you can be a dick.
Come on, bruh.
My dad and I don't live in the same city, and so we often meet up at halfway points for lunch. We've always been close, so it's commonplace for us to talk about our feelings, emotions, and recent life events with each other.
Oh.
Okay, so we got the backstory, John. Now into the story.
Oh, God.
The front story.
Oh.
During our first lunch since my grandpa's passing, I noticed my dad talking a lot about this new girl at his work. We'll call her Stacy. He said that Stacy was helping him a lot with his trauma and being there for him. You know, just helping like him with his emotional releases.
Yeah, he's got a lot to release.
He's got a lot of pent up emotions.
You know, they kind of just spill everywhere.
And you just lay down and relax.
Yeah.
You know?
Let him flow.
Let someone take care of it for him.
100%.
Stacy's husband has been through some similar traumas that my dad had experienced, and that was being brought up in therapy. So he said she offered him support. He really felt he could be himself around her. He made it abundantly clear that he did not feel he could be himself around his wife of 20 years, my mom, but that he could with Stacy. I thought this was an odd comment to make, and I think this is where my suspicions of their real intentions began. But I knew he was struggling, and it made me feel relieved that he had someone he trusted. It struck me a little weird that she was 29, but again, sometimes workplaces can create weird and unexpected friendships, and with me being 26, I wondered if maybe he saw her as another daughter since I wasn't able to be around much due to the distance.
Well, she does call him daddy.
He assured me that Stacy was married to a man named Andrew.
Well,
I assure you she's married.
Yeah.
I also assure you we're banging. They were strictly friends. But in his own words, people from his work had started to think something was going on between them.
Oh.
So they had stopped talking at work and had moved to texting. He even went so far as to later in the conversation say that he thinks a strong marriage should be able to survive someone cheating. What's with people saying like, oh, cheating makes a relationship stronger?
It's Sam, you got to go through the passages, the 7 rings of fire.
You got to go through the crucible.
Baby, I'm doing you such a favor. You know how strong I want us to be?
Yeah. I cheated on you 7 times this week for us.
I cheat with every woman I see because I'm doing it for you, baby.
I assured him that that wasn't healthy and that I'm not sure what kind of relationship he wanted with his wife, but I did not want a relationship founded on infidelity. Obviously, my alarm bells were going off. With a little information I had on Stacy, I went and found her online.
Oh boy.
I stalked her, and just like my dad said, she was seemingly in a young, happy marriage with Andrew. She kept her social media pretty private, but from what I could see, she looked like your average 29-year-old woman. I couldn't possibly imagine what she would want with my dad, and if anything, I thought maybe my dad had a work crush that he was reading too much into. No one wants to think that their dad could be capable of a full-blown affair.
Yeah.
But some dads are.
Yep.
Some dads are. I also wonder, I want to know what her dad looks like. Is he DILF material?
Is he a silver fox? Does he look like Brad Pitt? The look Sam gave me, like no look I've ever received from him before.
For anyone who doesn't know, my dad constantly around the world gets told that he looks like Brad Pitt, to the point where he was in Spain. A group of school children asked to take pictures with him. It was just like, Brad Pitt, Brad Pitt.
Where's Angelina?
Oh, my mom told me to share this picture of my dad. This is Pops.
Dude, there he is.
And then this is one more.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So
he's got it.
Yeah. I have something to look forward in my genes.
That's right.
Thanks, John, for that.
Woo! Yeah, there we go. Like father, like son.
Oh, man. Over the next few visits with my dad, I would hear him continually talk about Stacy when telling stories about work or talking about his friends. She always seemed to come up. I couldn't help but notice that he would avoid calling her by name. She would just be she or her or girl from work. It's as if he completely forgot the things he had told me about her, or as if he was afraid to say her name around me. Infidelity is never mentioned again, but he's always talking about how he's fighting with my mom, Lily. How as he goes through therapy, she might not like the man he's becoming because that man is cheating every day with this 29-year-old. He tells me how he's standing his ground and getting into verbal arguments with her. I imagine this is self-sabotage due to his guilt because of the cheating. Probably super true.
Yeah.
Fast forward to today, about a year since I first heard about Stacy. I went on my laptop, which I do not use often. I opened Instagram and I realized I still had my dad's login credentials saved on my computer from a one-off back in 2016. My dad is and always has been sketchy with his passwords, so I assumed that likely it wouldn't work, but I tried the login anyways.
I love Emily 69. Yeah. I love Stacy 69.
To my surprise, I was in.
Oh God.
She cracked the code. I won't even pretend like I didn't know exactly what I was looking for or like I'm above looking through his DMs. This is also where I effed around and found out.
Oh no.
I opened their DMs, which were pretty bleak at first. I thought I could rest my suspicions, more like hoped, until I couldn't. It started out with sending corny photos to each other, things about, you can kiss me whenever you want, I'm yours, and your arms feel like home and I'm homesick.
Okay.
A little cute. A little cute. It's like, oh, like I feel like I'm home in your arms. Beta shit.
Be an alpha like us.
Also, our producer Riley thought that women really, really like when men go,
yeah,
because he saw a sarcastic TikTok online.
Comment below. You're probably a woman watching this. Comment below if you like men barking.
Yeah, do you like men barking?
We will put it to test. Do you like that? Your snarl noises have always impressed me.
Yeah, thank you.
One of your best impressions.
Thank you.
There's that one too.
That's a pigeon.
That's pretty good.
Really juvenile weird things I wouldn't send to a coworker if you paid me. Still in denial, I kept scrolling, and that's when I saw it. Nudies.
Oh.
Booty nudies.
No.
But the question is it from Papa or Stacy?
Is Stacy a mom? And does she have it going on?
She has it going on.
She apparently does.
She's not a mom, but she'll steal your dad.
Apparently.
Yeah, sirree. Put in the comments, would you rather see nudes from your dad or nudes from your mom?
Oh.
Answers in the comments. John, which nudes would you rather see?
Oh my God. The next sentence. Oh, which one would you want to see?
Sexting conversations about their existing partners and the potential of leaving them for each other. I love you conversations with their plans to sleep together for the first time, etc., etc., etc. You get the picture. They haven't even slept together. Weak sauce, dog. All of my suspicions were laid out in front of me. He was willing to risk it all for a married woman 3 years older than his daughter.
Yep.
He was willing to hurt the woman he had supposedly loved for 20 years, destroy his family, destroy Stacy's family for what? Absolute effing selfishness. The worst part for me was that they actively talk about their existing partners in this chat. Stacy's always making fun of my mom. Does Lily wear lacy bras for you? Does Lily let you go down on her with her bush? Did 9/11? Lol. As if Stacy.
What?
No, I heard bush. As if Stacy couldn't become more of a disgusting human, as if she's not already sleeping with a married 53-year-old of two. She has to degrade his wife, an innocent victim in this situation. They assure each other that they love their current partner so much that it hurts, and they don't understand how they can have the capacity to love two people at the same time. It's disgusting and childish. And I don't know how it ends. They still work together. closely. I cannot bring myself to tell my mom. I don't want my dad to know I know. I don't want him to feel backed into a corner like he has to tell my mom. I want him to tell my mom because he knows it's the right thing to do. I have looked up to my dad my whole life, and I feel like the whole view I have had of him as a selfless, loving, caring family man has been shattered. I'm so disappointed in his actions and I don't know what to do. It's eating away at me. And I do have some edits, some comments, and a fat, juicy update. But what do you think, John? Do you think OP should tell the truth?
So we've had this predicament many times before on this show. And I think this is no different, where you go to the person who's cheating and you say, look, you need to tell this person that you're cheating. Now, do you give the ultimatum on like, tell her, or maybe it's like, hey, tell them I know, so just tell them. And then you, if you absolutely need to, enforce the I'll tell them if you don't, if they keep kicking the can down the road. I think that's the move.
Yeah, because like, I mean, you have an obligation to your mom, right?
Yes, exactly. I think so. Yeah.
I mean, ideally he tells, but obligation to the mom.
100%. 100%.
Okay, so some edits to clarify. I was told it would be beneficial to add that my parents do have a kid who is a minor who lives with them. I have not known about this affair the entire time. I found out about it on Thursday, so please stop saying that I'm intentionally holding a secret from my father. My parents share an email account, and I will not see my mom in person until probably Christmas. So here are some relevant comments. Stin555 says, armed with this info, I would set up a one-on-one meeting with mom and tell her and bring the evidence. In volatile situations like this, it is best to be proactive versus reactive. Advise her to go into stealth mode and to act like nothing is going on. Next steps: 1, help mom find 2 to 3 divorce attorneys and schedule the consult. The consult is usually free. Have her present the circumstances and find out their approach. She can then decide whose style she likes most and retain them. Have her gather the following documents: A, last 3 years of tax returns; B, 12 months bank statements, retirement account statements, investment statements; C, copies of mortgage deed title to the home; D, if they own a vacation or rental real estate, make copies of those docs from C; E, 12 months worth of credit card statements, cell phone bills. Have your mom try to see if she can get access to his wallet while he is sleeping, and if so, check if there's any new credit cards. If she finds them, screenshot them. What state are you in? Depending on the answer, infidelity may qualify her for a fault for the divorce filing.
Ooh.
Helping her prepare for this will give her a leg up for a softer landing. If you can find the info for her affair partner, spouse, she can and should make contact the day your dad is served. By the way, he can be served at work, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And OP replied, I've decided to take your advice. I'm going to tell my mom, as she deserves to have the upper hand in the decision-making, since my father has been the holder of all the decisions for the past months, unbeknownst to her. I'm currently just waiting for a time when she is not around my dad so I can call her and drop the bomb. They're currently driving up to their cottage together, so it doesn't feel fair for me to not let her have room to grieve / figure out her next move. I will post an official update when I have one, most likely Monday, when she goes into work. And here is the update we've all been waiting for, boys and girls. October 23rd. So I finally called my mom. Her and my dad had spent the day together at their cottage, so I waited until they were home and then asked if she could go somewhere alone so we could talk on the phone. Her reaction was nothing like I imagined. She sounded like she already knew.
Okay.
Her reaction also made me feel like this wasn't the first time this has happened. She laughed and asked me what I thought I saw. She blamed herself and said that she doesn't meet my dad's needs. I explained to her that it's not fair and that she doesn't deserve to be lied to and cheated on and put at risk for STDs. I said the way they spoke about my mom in the chat was disgusting and that this was wrong. She asked to see screenshots, so I sent them to her. She kept reassuring me that her and my dad were in it for the long haul and wouldn't divorce.
I wonder if he's got her like brainwashed into thinking all this.
What if she's cheating too?
Whoa.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's true. But
anything's possible.
Maybe they have some kind of agreement.
Yeah.
Maybe it's an open relationship and she doesn't want to tell OP.
Maybe. Yeah. That seems pretty plausible.
Because why would she be so calm and collected about it?
It is weird, right? It is very strange.
I told her I didn't care about that. I said no matter her decision, I supported her either way. Even though it wasn't what I was anticipating, I felt relieved. I felt like a weight had been lifted. She thanked me for telling her and said that I would always be her sweet girl. Everything seemed to be going well until she spoke to / confronted my dad and called me back.
Oh.
I don't know what happened with the conversation between her and my dad, but it's clear that he is a master manipulator and not at all the person I thought he was prior to all this.
Yep.
My mom's tone had completely shifted on the phone. She was scolding me. He confirmed the affair. He confirmed everything I had said and brought forward to her. And somehow they're blaming me. They're telling me I'm wrong. My mom told me that she's read all the screenshots I sent, but had nothing to say about them. They're staying together, and in her words, this is just a bump of the road. They've had highs and lows. They'll have lows again. I'm sure they will with this cheating fucking scumbag that she's married with.
Right?
I said I would support her either way, so I can't be mad, but I can't help but be sad at how low she thinks of herself to accept this behavior. I love your dad, and he loves me. What a horrible message to send to your child. Fucking crazy.
It really is, though.
I mean, this is like even a worse response than what it was initially. Because now it's like, not only do I not really care or expect this kind of behavior to me, but you are a terrible daughter for bringing this up.
Yeah, it's very clear that the dad has just, maybe over all the years they've been married, he's just been slowly like kind of brainwashing her the whole time up to this point.
She told me that guilt does bad things to people and that she thinks I got myself worked up over nothing. She told me I was wrong to look at his Instagram messages and that it was a breach of trust. Ironic, considering my dad committed the biggest breach of trust there is in a marriage.
Hello.
I also never would have looked at his messages had he not planted this seed of infidelity in my brain. She explained my dad is very angry with me and she doesn't know if our relationship is repairable.
Really?
I assumed my dad would be mad at me, of course, but for my mom to seemingly side with him and turn her back on me too is almost too much to take.
Insane.
I never would have expected this.
No, I wouldn't have either.
So bad.
Golly.
How do you get to that point, dude?
It's got to be, I mean, look, they're 53. They have a 26-year-old daughter, which means they've been together in some form or fashion for at least probably those 26 years, something like that. That's a long time to be able to slowly chip away and convince someone that you need me, do these things to serve me, that kind of thing. But it's just so sad. It's so insane.
Yikes, dude. Yeah. Freaking yikes. I know she's being manipulated, but this is where it ends, I guess. I can't stand to look at either of them. I feel like I was just orphaned. I can't fight a fight no one wants me to on their behalf. Deep down, I know I'm not to blame for this, don't get me wrong, but it's really hard to not feel awful when your parents whom you've trusted turn their back on you, especially when she's trying to do something that she feels is right.
Totally.
You know? I do feel like I did right by myself in telling my mom the truth, but I can't help but think that everything would have been easier if I never said anything. My dad still follows Stacy. He has blocked me and my fiance in all social media platforms. He's quite literally showing that he chooses his affair partner over his daughter. God. I know he's reacting out of embarrassment and anger, but I blocked him in return. He doesn't get to choose when he comes back in my life. All of this hurts a lot, and there is some relevant comments and some updates.
Let's get into it.
Agorious Bum says, like you said, this wasn't the first time, and it may well be that they already have an understanding about extramarital affairs, and that may run both ways, which is kind of what we said earlier.
Maybe, but at this point, I feel like it would be said, right? Like, hey,
yeah, like me and
I'm not worried because we're in an open relationship or something along those lines.
And why would you
blame the daughter?
Because if she doesn't know, all right, if I had an open relationship with, if I was the dad and the mom, if I was the dad and I had an open relationship with my partner and I had a kid and the kid was like to my mom, look what the dad's doing. The mom would be like, honey, I appreciate what you're doing, but it's wrong of you to snoop on your father's stuff. And also, there's something we haven't told you. Open marriage, right?
Yes.
And then bam, it's fine. But that should be I feel like that should be communicated to the kid.
And they're literally blaming her at this point. So it's I feel like the possibility at this point of the open marriage is out of the window.
Yeah, but maybe there has to be an understanding if their wife is acting this way, right?
Maybe the understanding is the dad is just freaking got the wife wrapped around his finger.
Yeah, it seems more like a manipulation rather than an understanding.
100%.
So notifying her didn't tell her much she didn't already know. Instead, just made it awkward for her to discuss it with you. Ultimately, people are complicated and you don't know their sexual history, which predates your existence. It is and will remain fundamentally unknowable to you. Your dad is a piece of shit, though, for how he reacted to you. And OP replies, In Stacy and my dad's DMs, they both outlined the fallout they believe would occur if their respective partners found out about the affair. I don't believe even if my mom and dad have a don't ask, don't tell policy, like another Redditor suggested, that it is a two-way street. But you're absolutely correct. I don't know their agreements within their marriage, nor do I want to, lol. Seeing the things that my dad has said in his DMs was way more than I ever needed to know. I do find my dad's reaction of anger very telling though. Honestly, the relationship I have with my dad, he probably would have just told me their agreement had there been one. And then Chrissy Lee 90 says, have you ever asked your mother if she'd expect you to stay in that situation if you were in her shoes? If she says no, I asked her what example she thinks she's setting by doing so herself.
Great point.
You can support her and distance yourself from the situation and from them. Them blaming you for telling the truth is wrong and separate of the support for what she chooses. And you can also support her and choose to limit or forgo the relationship you have with your father entirely. I have a feeling when your wedding approaches, your father is going to want to play perfect dad in all the events and pictures. Will you allow him to? And then OP replies, when it comes to my mom, I told her I would support her either way. As much as I don't agree with her choice, I'm not in her position and I don't know what kind of factors are coming into play for her to stay. Who knows? They could be waiting for my younger brother to move out before they call it quits. For now, I am no contact with my father and I'm willing to be low contact with my mom, but no one has spoken to me since, so I think it might be no contact with all. As it stands currently, I don't anticipate inviting my father to my wedding, which is really hard to stomach. We never planned for a big wedding, so his presence was definitely going to be a big one on our day. Yeah. Unless something is massively repaired during that time, I don't need the added stress. And that is a wrap. That's where OP leaves it. Complicated.
Very complicated. I mean, it just sounds like the dad has somehow tricked the wife into, being like, oh, I didn't satisfy him. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. That's why there's a justifiable reason. We'll get stronger for it. Like,
Yep.
Man, if that strengthened relationships, then their relationship would be a diamond at this point, because that's a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure. I mean, this is what leads to the question. Let's say you have an unconventional or like kind of secret marital understanding.
Yeah.
Do you / when do you tell your children? If you have an open marriage, and actually some people in the comments have told us they have open marriages. There was a bunch of open marriage comments recently.
Okay,
actually, let me search that up really quick. But if you have an open marriage, and you have children, at what point do you tell your children? Because eventually some curious child is going to be like, why is mommy always coming back with, hickeys when daddy isn't here?
That's true.
They're going to investigate and they're going to be like, oh, my parents are cheating on each other. And then do you get ahead of it?
I'm
if you
honestly,
had an open relationship, what would you do?
I kind of want to ask a side question to that, which is, do you have to?
Do you have to tell your children?
Because I totally hear what you say. Like, chances are like something, could come out and then they have to reveal it. But like, if you think about, your parents' life of doing it, does it need to be publicly known to the kid? I don't know. I think it's an interesting question or kind of thought experiment to ask.
Yeah.
Because their sex life is private with the two of them. Does that not carry over if they're consensually having other partners in the mix as well?
I mean, I think it does carry over. Obviously, like, your sex life is not broadcasted to your children.
Right.
But in this case, it's like, will they eventually find out? And if they do find out, do you get situations like this?
Well, it sounds like this guy's like just straight up cheating.
Right. But even like, let's assume they did have an understanding.
Right.
Like, this kid goes through this whole whirlwind of emotions to discover that it's okay. I remember we were talking about a story, and it was like, when is the right time to tell your children about sex or drugs or whatever?
Yeah.
And
4. Huh? 4.
Well, someone said when they ask.
Oh.
And I thought that was like,
damn, that's a bar. That is a parenting bar.
It's a parenting bar, but is that even true? Because I never asked my parents about that stuff because I felt like it was too awkward.
You're right. In an ideal world, they do. And then it's like, but I think 99% of kids will not ask, actually, now that I think about it.
Also, this is somewhat related. Dagger Girl 253 commented on one of our videos. We opened our marriage and he wasn't getting the attention, so he asked to close it. I'm not really sure what to do now.
Girl. So you got many takers.
Maybe help your hubby out, you know?
Lend him some of your Riz.
Be his wingman.
There we go.
Actually, that's a good solution. If your hubby's not getting action,
if you're in a truly like open marriage to that sense, then help your husband sleep with somebody else. Woo!
I mean, I think that's the only option if you don't want to close the marriage, right?
That's it.
Also, I think generally, the opening of the marriage should be mutual, and the continuation of the opening should be mutual too.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. Put your answers below. I want to know from all of our open relationship.
That's right.
Hoes and hoettes.
We're curious.
But
you know,
not that you're hoes. I'm just to be clear,
to set the record straight.
To all of our humans,
our beautiful people
doing other beautiful people,
indeed,
outside of their marriage. Well, I guess in their marriage, because the marriage is open. The marriage contains the whole world. True. Yeah, let us know in the comments below. I think that's a wrap on this episode, yeah?
It's a double episode, baby.
Oh, just kidding. We're going to this next story.
Let's get it.
I walked in on my girlfriend's mom having an affair. I need to tell my girlfriend.
Tell her.
Tell her right now. Really wish I would have just stayed home. My girlfriend came over to my apartment today to study and do some homework as she's still in university. When she arrived, she started to unpack, and she noticed her laptop wasn't in her bag, and being the good boyfriend I am, I told her not to worry and that I'll drive over to her house and grab it. I really wish I hadn't. By the way, this comes from DeliciousBit4226 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So my girlfriend still lives at home, and I'm really close to her parents. Both of us are. In fact, I see them as my own. Reason being, my parents are toxic, and it's best to go no contact with them for my own sanity. Her father, on the other hand, is a positive male role model in my life, great job, positive attitude, and always gives good advice, in my opinion. He's a great guy, not much else to say. I think highly of her mother as well. Caring, loving, and always supportive of my relationship with her daughter. They both love me, and it's the reason why today shocked me to the core. That sucks even more that he has like a relationship with them.
Yeah, right? So it's not just like drama. It's like his life could be impacted. Like,
I have a key to their house. So he was like close.
Yeah.
And as I entered, living room is first room upon entry, I see my future mother-in-law and some stranger having spicy sleep, fully unclothed, not hiding anything. As soon as they saw me, my mother-in-law started panicking and both ran into the back of the house away from me. I heard my mother-in-law cursing over and over. As soon as I realized what was happening, I just backed out of the living room and stood on the front porch. I honestly didn't know what to do. It didn't feel like my place to confront them as it's not my fight. So after about 5 minutes, I re-entered to see the stranger walk past me out of the door, followed shortly by mother-in-law. As he left, she looked at me and started to cry. She broke down and tried explaining the situation away, how their marriage had been suffering and how she loves father-in-law but feels so unsatisfied. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Excuses.
She begged me not to say anything, that it was a mistake and it would nuke the family. She was hysterical. I just sort of looked at her. What was I supposed to say? The begging wouldn't stop. She even grabbed onto my shirt. She wanted me to not say anything and let it be swept under the rug. I told her flat out that I'm not lying to save her. She then begged to be the one to tell father-in-law to at least give her that. So in the interest of getting the F out of there, I just said sure and went to retrieve what I was there for. I then went immediately home. I haven't told my girlfriend yet as she's still working on assignments, but I plan on telling her afterwards. I'm sad. It's devastating knowing that the comfortable family I found and felt finally a part of is about to be nuked into the sun. I can't imagine how my father-in-law is going to take this. He's a good guy and definitely doesn't deserve getting his heart broken like this. I'm also sad for what my girlfriend is about to hear and what will come of it. It's such a huge, crappy situation that I wish I never had any part of. My poor girlfriend and father-in-law. And there is an update, but dang, what a situation to be in.
Yeah.
Like it's not your family, but you're so ingrained in that family.
Right. So it's like you kind of have a say, but like not enough to actually say anything. You know what I mean? Like that's a tricky spot.
What do? Do you tell the girlfriend immediately? Do you wait for her mom to say something?
I would probably wait a little bit, but at the same time, like I don't know how I would keep that.
I'm really bad at keeping, like, unless someone I don't know. I can keep secrets, but in this case, I wouldn't feel like I owed I wouldn't be like the mother-in-law. Like, I don't want to keep her secrets.
Right. Like, I don't want to be responsible for that.
Yeah, and I wouldn't know how to keep it from, like, a partner.
Yeah, like, I think I would just, like, I would be around my partner and obviously something's up. Like, I would not be able to hide it. And then since they're my partner, they know me so well, they'd be like, what's wrong?
What's going on?
And then I would probably tell them, like,
Mom. But there is an update. Update on the original post I wrote last night. A lot has happened. So I told my girlfriend everything I saw when she finished her homework. She was devastated and crying like I have never seen before.
That's nice that he waited for her to finish homework.
Yeah, he was like, I'm gonna let her get her stuff done before I blow up everything.
Yeah.
We talked for a good few hours where she disclosed to me that her mom had cheated on her father once before when she was just a child. The affair partner was a boss from her work and had gone on for a few years by that point. She only knew about it later down the line because a family member told her. After I settled her down, I could tell her sadness turned to anger. Around 2 a.m, she insisted we go confront her mom and tell her father everything. I tried talking her out of it and to do this on another day and at a better time, but she doubled down, saying her mother doesn't deserve peace. Awkward situation for OP. Wow. Because the mom's probably going to be mad at him for like saying anything. And now he has to go confront her at 2 a.m. He's like, okay.
Right. And like, you know, he doesn't have to be a part of it, but he has to be there for like his girlfriend's
emotional
moral
support. Yeah. So we ended up at her parents' house early in the morning. They were just settling into bed. The look on my mother-in-law's face was obvious. She knew what was coming. It was effed up. I have never seen my girlfriend scream and cuss someone out so hard. Every single possible insult was used. My girlfriend told her mother that she's going no contact for good. When things calmed down, her father was clearly baffled and had a lot of questions. I told him everything. What I saw, what I was doing, why I was there, and what mother-in-law said to me. I could tell I just sank this poor man's heart. His eyes filled up with tears, but he just remained silent. I guess she hadn't told him, which I knew was the plan all along. Typical effing cheaters. After another 20-30 minutes of cussing, screaming, and crying, I was able to get my girlfriend and I to leave. I felt so bad for her and father-in-law. I felt responsible for destroying what I thought was beautiful family. I mean, I don't regret at all spilling the beans, but I just wish I wasn't at the center of it all. I don't want to break the people who I love's hearts. Feels like a nightmare and a reality was just turned upside down. When we got home, I got a text from father-in-law saying thanks for being honest and transparent with him. He said he loves me and that we will get through this. He's a great guy. I just can't believe that piece of crap woman did this to him. After a night of little to practically no sleep, I got out of bed this morning and made some breakfast for my girl. Just pausing really quick.
Yeah.
Like underneath this story, just a great boyfriend.
He's really great.
Yeah.
He's doing
and every step of the way.
Yeah.
Killing it.
Killing it.
We talked, and I think she's handling it better now, but still not great. I invited father-in-law over if he wanted a place to stay or just to lay low for a while. He surprisingly took me up on the offer and came over shortly after. Girlfriend, father-in-law, and I had a pretty lengthy conversation on how he felt and what the next steps are. He looked disoriented, but managed to handle himself well given all that has happened. It's clear he's deeply in love with mother-in-law. He kept saying he wants to try and fix it. Girlfriend and I both think that's a bad idea. He told us that the person mother-in-law originally cheated on with was the same guy she was having spicy sleep with. It had been over a decade since she was first caught and must have kept this man in the shadows. But don't keep us in the shadows and join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Just tap her profile. And there is a little bit left to the story, but man, oh man. I mean, she must have been cheating kind of if not this whole time, intermittently.
Right. Because I mean, when she was a child, it was already for 3 years or something like that. So it's like all these years later, because they're probably in their 20s at least.
Yeah, at least.
So man,
that's devastating.
Yeah. In their own home too.
In their own home. Out in the open.
Yeah.
Didn't even do it in the bedroom.
Right.
Didn't like the living room.
Right.
Come on, have some decency.
And if Opie just walked in, like what was the door unlocked or something?
Well, no, Opie had a key.
Well, yeah, but like I would assume that they could hear it. You know what I mean? Like hear them turning the key into place, unless they've got really like loud new locks, or or they're just making some noise.
And we're making a lot of noise. I can't believe he's willing to work through this knowing that. I couldn't at all. My girlfriend later asked where her mom was. Apparently, she left in the middle of the night after we left. No one knows where she's at. I wouldn't be that surprised if she was at her affair partner's house.
Oof.
Honestly, I'm sick to my stomach over it all. I feel like I destroyed a family. The people who I really care about are broken and hurt. It really sucks. I hate it all and wish people would just be decent human beings. And that is the end of that story. OP.
Wow.
You didn't break up anything. You were just the messenger.
Yeah.
And you don't deserve to be shot for that.
Yeah. That's a tough spot
That's
to be in.
a really tough spot. Yeah. They were going to be devastated wherever they heard it.
Right.
And it's better for them to find out now
right.
than to, find out years down the line.
Yeah. And it's good that you didn't like keep it from her.
Yeah. She would have been upset if she was like, you knew and you didn't tell me.
Right. That would be terrible. So it's not your fault. You did all the right things, OP.
Yeah. But that is the end of that story. So let's get into the next one.
Woo.
My late ex-husband had a secret affair, baby, and I want to expose him now that he's dead. Am I the a-hole? And this is OKOP, where we read the craziest true stories on earth. I'm John, and Sammy boy.
Should he be exposed?
Should he be exposed? And would OP be the a-hole for doing so?
Tough
one, right? Tough one.
All right. I didn't know who they are exposing this information to.
Ooh, good question.
But I think in general, cheating should be exposed.
Yeah.
Lies should be exposed. So I'm going to say not the for exposing the cheating.
Yes. And also, like, he's dead. So, you know what? There's only one way to get into it. So let's read the story and find out.
You almost said spill that tea.
All right.
We know how you hate it.
Yeah, we changed up, guys. Thanks for the feedback. So, Disastrous to 567 says, my 43 ex-husband, Duke, 54, and I divorced because he habitually cheated on me.
Dang. Habitually. There's some sadness behind that word right there.
Fair. Painful. We were divorced a little over 2 years when he passed away in a motorcycle accident. I paid for his funeral because of my daughter, 15, and despite everything, he was her father, and I didn't want the state to bury him.
Does the state bury you?
I guess I didn't know that. I guess so. Yeah, Riley, I'd be curious to see that. I never knew that.
So they just cremate.
Yeah, I mean that makes. I never knew that.
What do they do with the ashes?
Here we go.
I feel like we're about to like just reveal something super sad.
Yeah, this is a not fun rabbit hole maybe to go down. You don't want bodies just lying around. So that's actually a good government service. I had no idea
that happened.
Wow,
yeah.
We learned so much on this show. It's really truly incredible. Thanks for learning with us guys
Riley.
here today. Yeah, Riley educating us out here. So this was 4 months ago, and my daughter is now doing well. I applied for survivor's benefits for her shortly after his funeral and have been receiving monthly payments. I'm at least glad to hear that, small silver lining there. Yesterday, I received a phone call from my caseworker at the Social Security office informing me that a woman called claiming that she had a 3-year-old son by my ex-husband.
Oh, and she's coming for that money.
She's coming for the money.
Which, understandable.
Understandable. I wonder, we still don't know yet. Does this woman even know that he was married? What if he lied to her? He's like, "Oh, you're my family."
How old is it? How old is the kid?
3-year-old kid.
Okay, so then that means they broke up 2 years ago.
Oh, yes. So
there was an overlapping of a year. Is that true?
That's the question. Yeah. And that was, the kid was born.
Oh, actually 4. So you
4
need some
years.
baby making time. So
exactly
9 months before that.
So they were at least, boinking 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So
habitually.
There was definitely, he definitely was cheating.
On the
Good gravy. Now, however, the woman had no proof that this boy is actually my ex-husband's son.
And there's no DNA.
Not signed on the birth certificate and no DNA test.
Ooh.
Nothing. So here's the question. Do you get the DNA test at this point?
Can you? If there's no body? Is it burned?
You know what you could probably do?
Dig up the grave?
If there's other... I mean, maybe. Riley, can you look that up real quick?
Can you dig up a grave?
Siblings?
You're trying to see. Oh, yeah.
OP has another kid. So if they
true.
prove that they're like half
That's true.
siblings, then that's...
I love how the first thing was like, can you dig up a grave?
Dig up the grave. Which, I mean, that is one path, but yeah, probably like...
Exhuming a grave for a DNA test is possible.
Whoa!
But subject to strict legal processes.
Yeah.
So
you can't just go and just dig up a grave. Yeah. So the caseworker asked me if I was willing to allow my daughter to do a DNA test to prove the child's paternity. What do you think? What do you think the mom's going to say?
No.
I refused. I did the math, and this child was definitely conceived while my ex and I were still married. Furthermore, at the time of conception, I had gone through a very traumatic hysterectomy, which is removing the uterus so you can't have children anymore, with major setbacks that nearly killed me. I suspect I know who this woman is, and she definitely knew my ex-husband and I were still married. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing by refusing, but I was humiliated enough. But my ex when he was alive, and I feel even more embarrassed now.
So the question OP is asking is, am I the a-hole for basically saying no to the DNA test?
Yeah.
And essentially robbing this mother, and robbing is too harsh of a word, but I'm going to use it anyway.
Yes.
Robbing this mother of the financial security provided by the guy that impregnated her, right? So like OP's fairly certain that this child is her ex-husband's biological child. And she is saying, you do not deserve financial support because you cheated.
Yeah.
You were his affair partner. And I want to know what all of you think.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
please.
I want to know what you all really think, the real answers to this question. But we'll do with John's answer for the one time being.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get to the real answers later, but for now, here's my BS response. While OP maybe is the a-hole, and I guess I'll say the a-hole just to have an answer. I totally understand her response. The gut reaction is like, F you.
Yeah.
You cheated on my husband.
Yeah.
Or cheated, you cheated. So it's like, I totally understand her gut reaction.
You were the thing that my husband was cheating on me with.
And you knew.
That's
what OP said.
And you knew.
Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
If it was just punishing the affair partner, then it would be like deserved, not the a-hole, makes sense. The thing is, it's punishing the kid too.
Innocent kid.
I would love to know what all of you think. You guys might chew us out in the comments, as you do sometimes.
That's right.
Hey, sometimes we deserve it.
Yeah, there you go.
Sam, but John loves it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, what can I do to change it? John's like, bring it on.
I love the hate.
Can I do a quick conspiracy?
Please. Here we go. 10 hats, everybody. Boom.
I think there could be a scenario where the affair partner secretly goes directly to the kid, because the kid is the DNA that she needs, which would be fucked up.
Super.
But I think that could be what happens.
You're right. And they're like 15 or whatever. So do you go and be like, hey, don't do this to my baby. Like, let me do whatever.
Yeah. Come to her at like high school or something.
We have an update. About a month after I found out about this little boy, I did intend to tell my daughter, who is now 17, by the way.
Okay.
Which also like quickly approaching legal adulthood too. So that maybe throws another wrench.
Which maybe the affair partner could legally require the kid to DNA test at 18, potentially.
Goodness gracious. She was shocked, as you can imagine, and very hurt by her dad's actions. I explained to her the full situation, and she didn't want to do it then. So the daughter's basically refusing to do the DNA test at this point. She said that she needed time, so that's what I gave her. Incidentally, she has been in therapy since before, during, and after the divorce. He, the father, and her were never close because he had a kids are to be seen and not heard mentality, which caused a lot of problems even when we were still together.
That's effed.
Terrible.
But I mean, that's old school. That's how it was.
Super old school, toxic mindset. The woman who had an affair with my husband was a work colleague / friend. We all worked together at the same place. Oh. That is awful.
Brutal.
Awful. We both still work there just in different areas. They're still working at the same company. Oh my God. After I got the call from my caseworker, several mutual acquaintances approached me and told me that she wanted to sit down and talk with me about her problem. I thought about that for a few days and ultimately decided to meet up with her.
I think that's an empathetic move.
We met at a coffee shop by our job on a Saturday. What if they literally just got in a conference room?
Yeah.
They're like, all right, let's just reserve the conference room between our desks. She told me that she and my ex started out as friends at first. He would give her advice on how to deal with her other 2 kids' father.
Oh, geez.
She said it very quickly turned into flirting and hanging out and eventually a full-on affair. By this time, he's telling her I was getting suspicious that something was going on and she was already pregnant.
Why don't you just wear protection, man?
People are crazy.
Dude, it's not as fun for them.
Yeah. Probably was like,
Riley. Yeah. Wait until we find out about all the secret Riley children that are running about.
Oh, dude, all the little proteins.
Little proteins.
Little proteins.
Oh, yeah. Man, shooting little proteins every single night.
Yeah, he is.
Bali, LA.
Yep.
Knoxville.
Actually, this is 10 times more hilarious because Riley is the sweetest guy ever. And he's like, dude, I don't know if I can just run around. I just want to be with and support a woman. He literally told me that last night. Literally told me that
I'm a
last
lover
night.
boy, not a
Another
boy.
reason for all of you who love him in the comments to love him even more. So There you go. Now, the affair partner had told him about the pregnancy and he told her that he wouldn't be leaving me, but he would assist her with whatever the child needed. She was hurt and angry, but stuck with the situation as she was already struggling with 2 kids that she had and she needed the help. She went on to say that he was very much in love with me and that she was jealous of me for having him. Oh, what a effed situation.
Yeah, that guy's like just hurting people on both sides.
Literally awful. Not one time was this woman remorseful. No apologies, nothing. I asked her, did she even care what their affair did to my daughter? And she replied, no, because she had enough on her plate with her own children. And quite frankly, she didn't care about mine. Well, if you don't care about my children,
I don't care about
yours. I mean, why not even just lie? Just lie.
I feel like after that confession, OP is going to be like, I don't care about your kid either.
Likewise. That's word for word, by the way.
Wow.
But at this point, I told her that I have informed my daughter about her son, and she is currently not interested in participating in this scenario, aka doing the DNA test to help, the affair baby get some bread. She got outraged by that, telling me that I have to make my daughter do this.
I mean, no.
That she is only part-time at our work and her kids cannot survive on her income alone. I told her that she was a biatch.
Damn.
That if she felt even a little bit of guilt, I might have been able to talk my daughter around, but her lack of respect for my daughter's feelings is why I won't. I left her there yelling at me as I walked away to my car. She has since quit working at our job. Wow. So now she doesn't even have the part-time income.
Why would she do that?
What if, going back into conspiracy mode, tinfoil idea, they both work at the same job? Rumors spread.
But I can't imagine that the rumor hasn't already spread at this point, right?
That's a good point.
Like, I would assume that everyone kind of knows.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe
not,
but the water cooler talk, it spreads fast.
OP probably has some other she has lots of friends at work, like she mentioned multiple times.
Yeah, they exist in the same circles. There's no way the whole company doesn't know a little bit of what's going on.
Why aren't you inviting Stacy to drinks after work? Well,
because she slept with my dead husband
and has a baby and hates my kids.
Yep. Is that enough reason, Sharon?
Yeah, come on. Wow. But that's my tinfoil. So we'll see. Over the past year, I have addressed the situation with my daughter, and she still does not want to do it. I've told her it's her decision either way, and I support what she wants. And I'm guessing maybe now at this point, we're quickly approaching 18 as well, which again changes everything. My ex's parents are both deceased and his one sister has also passed away. He has an older brother, but they haven't communicated in decades because of the brother's drug issues. I tried to find out about him when my ex passed away, but I couldn't find anything. My ex was dead 2 full days before the police finally got in contact with me. It was a shock. I never hated him. I hated what he did. There is a difference. I guess that's the update. If there's any other questions that you guys would like me to answer, I'll be around. Feel free to ask. Thank you for your time and stay blessed. And Sam, we have one more final concluding update.
Conspiracy theory. I think that the affair partner is going to reappear and come crawling back for the money somehow.
Yeah.
Doing something crazy like steal the DNA of the kid.
Oh, yeah.
And at 18, can you legally request? Like, can you make a legal request for DNA?
Yeah.
That might be something that happens. I don't know. Riley's about to look it up.
So basically, it's sounding like even with OP's daughter turning 18, they could still go to the courts and push for it.
Yeah.
And it is possible.
It seems like it's more possible when the daughter turns 18.
Yeah, because now it's like, okay, you're a legal adult and subject to more now, basically because of that. Tinfoil hats off. We're going to see what we got going on in this final concluding update. I talked to both my mom and my brothers before I talked to my daughter. They were also shocked, but they urged me to talk to my daughter and get her input on this situation. As I said in my first update, my daughter has been in therapy before, during, and still after the divorce. I suggested to her to talk to her therapist about this, which she did. Based on my daughter's feelings of being adamantly opposed to being involved, her therapist suggested that I give her time, and I have. My daughter is such a sweetheart, and I'm not saying this about her because she's mine, but it has been a lot for her to deal with this all at one time. I'm sure in the end, she will change her mind, but I refuse to bully her into it. It has to be 100% her own decision. So it's sounding like, as of right now, the daughter is still like, no, I don't want to do this. The mom is like, I do ultimately want her to. That is my personal opinion. But I am not going to force her into this. Yeah. I'm going to let it play out and let her be an adult and make a decision on her own.
Because we could ask, is the daughter the a-hole for now refusing the paternity test?
That sounds like the real question.
Yeah, that's the real question. Let us know in the comments what you think, but we'll keep going through.
Some of you think I hate my ex-husband and I'm using this situation to get back at him. I do not. I hated what he did. That is all. My ex and I talked at least twice a week. We had disagreements, sure, like other people do. I wish he would have told me honestly. The affair long had been out of the bag. I'm not going to say I would have enjoyed hearing it, but at least we would have known. See, we're too busy living, and oftentimes we subconsciously think everything will work out for the best. If he would have told us, we could have long gotten over any of the shock or hurt or resentment, and possibly the kids could have met each other long ago. I would have known about the boy, and we all would have been better prepared for when my husband eventually passed away. Who knows? But I am no longer angry or hurt. Please believe me when I tell you that I want an amicable solution to this as much as you do. That day in the coffee shop with her, I once again reacted, but I'm human with feelings and emotions just like all of you. My ex-husband had no one else but us. As I said, he has a brother who's on drugs, who I spent weeks trying to locate, and I couldn't. I would never have let him be buried by the state because at the end of the day, we still loved him. I was married to him for 17 years. And that is the conclusion of this story.
I feel like I didn't get quite the answers that I wanted.
No, a resolution has not been reached. No. You could say like the resolution as of right now is they're not going to help the affair baby.
Yeah. I guess that is the resolution. Yeah, I would agree with you. But we'd love to know what you think. Put your answers in the comments below. But John.
Yes.
You know what I think?
What do you think?
I think you should listen while I tell you this next story.
My childhood friend offered intimacy with me and my husband. Taking it was the biggest mistake of my life.
Dang, don't do friendcest.
I wish I had the stomach to write everything that happened down, and I'm not sure why I even feel like sharing it here, but maybe making this anonymous because I feel ashamed of everything that transpired. When I was in middle school, I wasn't sure if I was bi, But I had a friend who experimented. She was much more into me than I was into her, and I cut things off because it was awkward. My parents were religious and it felt wrong. By the way, this comes from u/deleted on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So fast forward to being 24 years old and married with a baby. This girl re-enters my life, freshly divorced from her husband and wanting to rekindle our friendship. She's hot and ready. I don't know how we got to talking, but she suggested a party of 3 with me and my husband. Obviously, my husband was over the moon that he was going to have an opportunity with 2 women, and I was going to experience a woman fully and discovered that my part of spirituality as an adult. Looking back now, that was the biggest mistake of my life.
Seems like he was too excited.
She came to our house and things went well, but she kept telling me I was the one that got away and was making unwanted advances with me emotionally.
She's in love with you, you're in love with your husband, and your husband's in love with her. That's a proper love triangle.
She came out of a lifeless bedroom marriage and was super into all things spicy sleep related. And my husband had been disappointed with the blip in our spicy sleep life because all of my hormones, postpartum, and adjusting to a life with a child. This girl entered my life when my baby was a little over a year old, and I told both of them I was uncomfortable with the situation and I apologized if I let anyone on, but I no longer wanted to participate. At this point, she had no job and was kind of posted up in my house for about a week or so, and she took it really hard to leave my home. She was trying to do my chores and be a homemaker while I was at work. I was just so uncomfortable. A few weeks after we ended things, I found out I was pregnant with our second child, and this really set in stone that she had no business in our relationship or life. I caught my husband talking to her a few times after we cut things off, and I made it clear that that was a boundary. He claimed she was sad and he felt bad about how we ended things. I did not want him to cross these boundaries, and he assured me and he would ignore her if she called. I don't want him talking to her. I did not want her reaching out to him. I established this with both of them, but apparently neither one of them respected that, which I wouldn't learn until about 2 years later. You know what 2 years ago was? 2023.
2 years ago, I was in college.
To give a better timeline, I cut her off in April of 2022. I found out I was pregnant in May 2022. It wasn't much of a conversation, but my husband and I realized we needed to move closer to family because we couldn't afford to stay where we were at the time with 2 children, to quit my job to raise them both or put them both in daycare. I also can't afford to quit my job. We started making plans to move in July of 2022, and we eloped. August 2022, I moved in with his parents 20 hours away from our home. He stayed in our home while he looked for a job so he could keep bringing in a paycheck and we could sell our house.
I don't trust him. He's not going to be alone in that house.
It'll get sad and lonely, and he's going to find a way to make it not sad or lonely. He didn't find a job until the end of December 2022, and we did long distance, only seeing him 3 times during that time. It was really difficult because I was heavily pregnant and my daughter had never been away from him like that. We had the baby in January of 2023, and things have been off for us for all of 2023 and into 24. I saw pictures of her on his phone.
What? That's like caught red-handed.
When he opened his phone in 2022, Christmas Eve, and he insisted that it was from when we were talking, all 3 of us together.
Liar. That's easy to fact check. Just look at the photos. Just be like, okay, and then show me the photos.
Yep, show me the metadata.
Show me the metadata. Let me see. Cough it up.
He deleted everything and said he was embarrassed about reminiscing on the past. But these things were photos I never seen. When we unpacked our house, I found her underwear in a hamper. I knew they weren't mine. He gaslit me and told me that they must have been from when she was involved and they got all tangled up in our things. I knew this wasn't true because they were in the laundry basket with the sheets that he took off the week he packed.
This is so obviously lies.
Now it's March 2024, and I'm really not big on going through phones. I know it's a violation, but I have his code, and my baby walked over with this phone and handed it to me.
You're getting the baby involved? You got a little baby spy? She's like, okay, son, I need you to go find your papa's phone. Act all cute, like you're just going to play with it, and then bring it to me. Have him unlock his phone. Bring it to me. Thank you.
I haven't looked at it in a really long time, and I just felt like I needed to. This was all last weekend, and I opened up his phone, and the last thing he was looking at was a journal. I was really confused at this, but it was a journal entry about, I miss him so much. I really want to be with him. He wants to make it work with his wife and his family, but I think about him and all of our times together every day.
So she's switching up. She used to be in love with OP. Now she's in love with OP's husband.
I saw her email sharing it with, and then realized this girl wrote in a journal that she shared with him on a Google Drive since mid-2022.
Why are you sharing your diary? And she's like, look, I read about you every day. Dear diary, I want to steal my friend's husband.
I have hundreds of pages of her journal entries, documenting their conversations and all their meetups with one another. While I was living with his parents, pregnant with his baby, and raising his daughter, he was shacked up with her, living a second life in our home. And he kept telling me he was having trouble finding a new job, but I wonder if he just didn't want to leave his life with her.
Of course he didn't. He's been over the moon about the whole situation from the start.
I know discovering an affair is heart-wrenching for everyone, but I don't know anyone who's ever discovered it in this way. So
that's a lot. Oh yeah. First you get your baby involved, and then you find hundreds of pages of journal entries. That's a movie right there. She's already written you the script.
I read all of her most personal thoughts about my husband, thought about moving to our town. They had a very naughty relationship and no judgment to that lifestyle, but it was extremely disturbing to read her calling him Natty, talking about wearing a collar, him leaving bruises on her, him peeing on her, and a bunch of weird fetish things. These were things I would never do. I'm so devastated. We have 2 children together, and he was carrying on this relationship with her when we were getting married. He talked with her up until 2 days before I found the journal entries. It seemed like he was trying to cut her off, but she was trying to manipulate him into continuing to talk to her through her desperate journal entries. I am so traumatized by everything I just read, and I just don't know how to move forward. I kicked him out of the house, and he's staying with his parents, but I can't afford to live on my own. I can't even afford the divorce paperwork filing fee from lawyers. I have my own job, and our finances are not intertwined, but I am just struggling every day thinking about everything she wrote. He's begging me to stay with him, and I feel like my mind is made up that I don't want to be with him because he did this to me, but I also can't imagine raising my children without him. He's gotten into therapy and wrote his whole plan on what he wants to do to make things better, but I just don't think it will be enough. She wrote about how he put his hands together when he's thinking about her, the look in his eyes, and the way his hands feel, his tattoos, his everything. I can't look at him without hearing her words. I feel like maybe I could have gotten over it if it wasn't a childhood friend. And maybe it was just the time we were apart from one another, but he spoke with her, spicy texting her through all of 2023, and seemingly only tried to cut contact with her at the end of the year.
He didn't cut contact with her. Like, you said that she messaged him like 2 days before you found the stuff. He can say that he wants to like make amends and fix things all he wants because he got caught. He's not actually going to change.
He told her he would call her on a monthly basis, and that all of her journal entries between their calls were so pathetic and begging him to want her more than me. She was longing for him and what he would do to her. The last time he met up with her, she was on a business trip 4 days before a second baby was born.
He met up with her 4 days before your child was born?
On a business trip. And if you guys are ever on a business trip and you want to hear more stories like this, search us up on any podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Just search up OK Storytime for more stories like this.
Yeah, no, divorce this man. He is only saying that he's going to make changes because he got caught. I mean, it's going to be tricky to raise these kids on your own, but, he's still going to be involved probably as a parent, hopefully. And you can still co-parent. A lot of people do it effectively. It's hard. It's different. It'll be better than being in a relationship with a man who clearly doesn't care about you.
Facts. I really don't know the point of me writing this, but I feel like this group of people might be able to give me some comfort or advice, or I don't know. Last night was my first night away from the kids, as I have implemented a time-sharing schedule for them to stay with him at his parents', and it was so difficult being away from them. I know it will get better with time, and I know what I need to do. I'm just struggling. Girl, you know what you need to do? Just get in that gym, feel better, work on yourself, focus on yourself.
I kissed another man when I was drunk. Should I tell my boyfriend? Probably.
No.
Dang.
Kiss more. See if you really like him. Compare and contrast.
Yikes. This past Friday, my friend threw a huge party for her 26th birthday. It wasn't a particularly significant birthday, but her father always indulges in all her requests, and her parties are always one of the highlights of the year.
The place to be seen.
This year, she was inspired after watching The Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix and wanted to throw a party in an abandoned building, and her father made it happen. Bro, party squatters?
Daddy's got some money.
That bread.
These are rich people.
I wasn't too involved with the planning this year because work kept me busy, so when I first heard the idea, I was skeptical, but she pulled it off spectacularly. A little backstory on my boyfriend and I. We met at uni when I was 18 and had been close friends, slightly lost contact when we graduated, and I got engaged. But my fiance passed away when I was 22.
Oh, that is heartbreaking.
Oh my God. And he was great support to me during this time. After that, and since he's moved to a city 4 hours away, we'd only exchanged the occasional text. Well, until February of this year, when we both got slightly pissed, which I think means like wasted.
Drunk.
In UK slang.
Yep.
Cheers.
We got slightly wasted at another party and slept together.
So that sealed the deal of boyfriend-girlfriend.
They threw a little spice on that sleep to make some spicy sleep.
Spicy sleep?
Oh, yes. He asked me out after that, and we slowly transitioned into a relationship. Anyway, moving on, I woke up today with vague memories of what happened the night before, but my body felt wrong. I know I got insanely drunk and stupidly said yes when I was offered X. I've only ever smoked the devil's lettuce in the past, and that was during uni. The UK is very strict on usage of substances, and my job requires a pretty intense background check. Even being in the vicinity of substances might get me fired. Dang.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy.
That's like, some of my friends that work in like at a Boeing or any defense companies, they do tests on the reg.
Right.
You can't smoke any devil's lettuce or do any kind of other substance.
I guess if you're like building a thing that will fly and keep hundreds of people safe, you want to be a little focused on that.
No. It's more just like if you have a contract with the government's a little bit more like, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
Wait,
true.
do you guys, is it as often as we have drug tests?
Yeah.
Really?
More often. Pee in this cup right now, Riley.
Yeah. Do it.
You look like you've been
always
doping.
asking me to pee in a cup for some reason. I don't know why.
It's totally normal.
It's totally normal.
super normal.
Yeah, he keeps like, oh, why do you drink it? How do you think we test? How do you think we test if it's good pee?
Exactly. How are we supposed to know?
How are we supposed to know? By the taste.
Okay. That's what you guys are doing.
Yeah. Riley, eat this cookie and do the test.
Yeah. And we'll see whether you're clean or not.
That's right.
All right. Cool.
At the party, I hung out with my friends towards the beginning of the night, but I turn into a social butterfly when I'm wasted, and I wandered off and ended up chatting to a friend of a friend I barely knew. He was quite flirty, and I remember mentioning pretty early on that I had a boyfriend, and he was just bantering. Now,
just bantering. That's called flirting.
Just bantering, He's like, oh, you look so beautiful. Why don't you marry me? Banter.
Now, come back to mine. Banter.
Banter. Now, I can't remember who initiated it, but I remember kissing him.
How do you think she did it?
You were on X, so I think probably like this.
Yeah, dude. Bro, you don't understand. The practice was going crazy. I was ready to go.
Throw back to the other episode where John talked about how he practiced kissing.
Dude, I would make out on my knee. In the shower, too. I don't know why I chose the shower.
It's wet and wild, you know?
It is a little wet and wild.
Yeah, because like your lips are wet and you have to simulate wetness on the other side.
Kissing in the rain.
Kissing in the rain.
Prepping for that.
Perfect.
Prepping for that. I don't know for how long I was kissing him, but it felt pretty intense.
Probably because of the X.
After beating myself up and having a shower, not kissing any knees though, I asked any of the friends if they had witnessed anything, and one of them said that she was the one who dragged me away from the other guy after seeing me making out with him. That is a good friend. That is a good friend. She said as she grabbed me, she could tell I was ridiculously drunk and had no idea what I was doing and took care of me the rest of the night. Let's maybe answer this question a little later, but I'm curious right now, everyone in the comments, is that an excuse?
No.
Is being super wasted an excuse and you didn't know what you were doing?
No. If you're getting drunk to the point that you don't know what you're doing, personally, I don't think it's like, I'm not interested in that relationship.
I'm going to be honest, I don't really know how that's possible.
Well, you could get blackout drunk. Like you get blackout drunk and then not just not have your best mental faculties. And many people, when I was in college, I got very drunk and probably didn't make the best decisions all the time. But if I'm in a relationship and doing that and not remembering and kissing other people, I would not expect my partner to be like, oh yeah, that's fine.
You're good.
You're good. Oh, you kissed her as long as you're drunk. You're drunk, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't count. That's fine. Like I think that's kind of whack. So, not an excuse, and I feel like it signals that you're probably not ready for a committed relationship if you're getting effed up to the point of losing your mental faculty.
Yeah. I also just realized I don't think I've ever reached that point.
Yeah. Lame.
I know. She had chosen not to say anything to me if I didn't remember, since it was just a drunken mistake, and my other friends agree with me.
No. To jail. Straight to jail.
Stinky,
Straight to jail.
stinky.
Straight to jail. Stinky.
Right to jail, right away.
You and your friends are stinky.
That's right. They said it's not worth blowing up my relationship with something like that.
Stinky.
Agreed.
It's called telling the truth. Admitting when you've done wrong.
They said it's not worth blowing up my relationship with something like this, since it doesn't mean anything and I barely remember what happened. No. She told me nobody else saw, since we were in a quite secluded corner, and this secret would stay between us, but I'm not sure how to proceed.
Tell him. That's how you proceed.
Well, you're saying tell him. Is it the boyfriend?
The
or the
boyfriend.
fiance?
Her boyfriend.
He texted me this morning asking how I was and hoping I had a nice time and if my friend liked her present, since he helped me shop for it, and I haven't been able to reply to him.
The boyfriend helped her shop for the present at the party that she cheated on him with.
Yep.
Oh,
classic.
Man.
Classic.
Man's gonna be hitting the gym soon,
dude.
He's gonna be getting so swole.
His life is about to transform.
Harry Spotter, did you skip leg day again?
Every day is arm day, sir.
Dude, he's gonna be a monster.
And then he's gonna find that guy from the party and be like, "What's up, chump?
Yeah, what's up, little scrawny little man?
Pipsqueak.
You know what these are? Pain muscles.
Whoa.
I turned my emotional sadness at the love of my life cheating on me into gains.
Come on, little man. Let's go a couple of rounds.
Dude, sad pains into mad gains.
Works.
That works.
Ouch.
It works.
Riley's a living testament.
If you don't have therapy, hit the gym.
That's right.
Yeah, true, honestly.
The iron is my therapist.
Hit the gym and listen to OKOP. Your life will be great. Look at me.
Yeah.
I've got no words until I sort out what I'm going to do. I know these girls would never tell a soul what happened, but the guilt is killing me. That's bad. Bad friends. Bad friends.
Smelly.
I don't know how I'm going to face my boyfriend the next time I see him, even if I choose not to tell him.
You tell him.
You tell him. And if I do, then how do I deal with everything if he chooses to leave?
You just accept it. You
just deal
accept
with
it.
it.
You made a dumb decision. You accept it.
That's right. I know I'll never do anything like this again because I'll never let myself be put in such a mindless state, but it
Then
would
say that. Then say
Yes,
that. You
say
know,
that.
be transparent. Say that. You know, you made a mistake. Maybe he'll forgive you. But
Literally.
like, the relationship should continue to exist in integrity by being transparent.
Absolutely. And hopefully, you know, just by being transparent, A, maybe there's a possibility to continue the relationship, or B, at least you leave on
good terms.
Good terms, knowing that
Good-ish
you
terms.
came, yeah, goodish terms, right?
I cheated on you. I'm honest. Where's my pat on the back? Yeah, we're on good terms, right? Don't give me a pat on the back.
I was giving you the pat on the back.
I'm not the cheater.
I'm
we were
pretending to be the
improving.
I was pretending.
And that's getting too real.
Don't pat my
getting
back.
too real.
Oh.
I didn't cheat. I didn't do it.
They didn't, to be clear.
And if I did, I was drunk. So it doesn't count.
And on X. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's on X.
All of the influences, guys.
That's why they call me an influencer.
I'll never let myself be put in such a mindless state, but it would be absolutely horrible of me if I chose to just move on from this without telling him. I need objective advice because I know my friends are always going to try and protect and help me. I know I exhibited supreme lack of judgment and would not mind any criticism, but please don't slut shame me, please. And we have some comments. But ladies and gentlemen watching right now, Samuel Donner.
Yes.
First question, should she come clean?
Yeah, she should totally come clean.
Second question, what should she say?
She should say,
let's role play. You be the girlfriend, I'll be the boyfriend.
okay. You know how I went to that party last night?
Yeah, babe.
Well, I got super drunk and I don't know what was happening, but some of my friends saw me kissing another guy.
What?
And I'm really sorry. It meant nothing, but I felt like I should let you know. I totally understand if that means the end of this relationship, but you deserve to know.
You know what?
What?
I understand.
Come over here, big boy.
I understand that I need to dump you right now.
Oh, no.
And never see you again. Get out of here. Go run. Scram.
What if I gave you some X?
I don't care. Get off of Twitter. This isn't about Elon Musk. Get out of my face.
You know how much I love Elon? He's just a misunderstood genius.
Then go marry him and leave and never come back.
Okay. I just broke up with my boyfriend. You want to get drinks? That's me texting the guy that I was hooking up with.
And scene.
Good?
That was, yeah, I like that. I was entertained.
Let's freaking go.
And I think in that, like, yes, the boyfriend left in that scenario, which he's entitled to do, but at least the girlfriend was, OP, was integrity. She, like, said, she got back to integrity. She lied, but now she got back to integrity by laying all the information out on the floor.
If you do it wrong, you got to do as much right as you can afterwards.
Yeah.
To grow, for yourself, to be a better person. On to some comments. Come clean with your boyfriend now, confessing your mistake and promising that you will never get crap-faced again. And because you're being forthcoming, honest, and regretful, having the possibility that he will eventually forgive you and maybe save your relationship. Having him find out a month, 6 months, or a year down the road, at that point, he will know that you hid it from him, lied by omission, and have a hard time proving and documenting what actually happened. He will never forgive you or trust you again if he finds out about it this way, and it is almost certainly a death knell for your relationship. Ouch.
Yep.
Opie says the possibility of him not forgiving me is what is terrifying to me, but you're completely right about it being worse if he finds out down the road, which he will. I don't think there's going to be a magical perfect outcome for me here.
I don't have high hopes. Have high hopes.
Right.
But what I do have high hopes for is that there will be a juicy update.
There's not only a juicy update, it is coming 1 day later.
1 day later. So
the next day.
Hopefully it is her confessing her sins.
Yes.
To your fathers right here.
Your fathers.
Or your internet daddies.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. coming to
You've
my
heard of internet
pulpit.
boys, maybe, but internet daddies.
Internet
You
daddies.
guys can be internet daddies when you have kids. That would actually be pretty fire.
Internet daddies.
True. Dude, we start a fatherhood podcast.
That would crush.
Not gonna lie, that would be sick.
Something I kind of want to do is like when I'm on the verge of having kids, doing a series interviewing parents and children all around the world to gather knowledge about what it means to be a good dad.
That
I
is
love that. Can we
amazing.
all have kids at the same time though?
I feel like we probably.
Nope.
I think John's probably the closest.
Yeah,
Having kids.
that's true.
Yeah.
Flagrant podcast, they all got married within like the same like 12 months. Married or
Wow.
engaged, except for like one person.
I could see us aligning.
Yeah.
That'd be
I
cool.
could see us aligning, all having kids at the same time.
It could be pretty close,
Yeah.
So fun. Dude, they would be we would call them cousins.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Uncle John, Uncle Sam.
Dude.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cute.
I'm gonna make them take money from you. Because we'll be like, guys, it's Uncle Sam. Go ask him for $1.
That's actually hilarious.
My parents did have this rule. Anytime somebody cursed, we would get $1. And it created this perverse incentive for us to like constantly start spying on all of our aunts and uncles and their adult friends.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna be
to
broke.
try and hear.
I'm gonna be
a curse
so
word.
broke. That's a great idea though.
Inflation, $5.
Yeah. What? Probably $5. Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. One time there was a guy, my dad, he was like going into a business meeting and he brought me with him. And then he's like, we have this little rule, every time you curse $1. And he's like, here's some insurance, son. And I was like, he gave me like freaking $10. I was like, oh!
Here's some insurance. That's a lie.
That's why I love hearing curse words now.
Yeah, because you're like, ding.
Perverse incentives.
Dang.
Anyways.
All these kids are going to have Venmo accounts because it's not going to
Yeah,
be
dude.
Yeah,
cash.
right. Here's your cash app. I can take your card.
Venmo request.
That would definitely be my kids.
There's only one thing I want to request from you guys, though.
What?
Subscribe!
Truly. And it's free.
Freaking subscribe.
You don't
What
have
are
to
you
swipe your
doing?
card or anything. It's
Subscribe.
literally free. Do it. Be the first to get these videos.
Be the change you want to see in yourselves by turning that little red button a different color.
That's right. White.
Is it red? It's red.
The button's red and I think it goes to white, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
Click it and find out and tell us in the comments. Thanks, guys. On to the update. One day later. Thank you, everyone, for the advice left, especially the comments calling out my behavior. While they initially stung, you made me see the way I was trying to justify what I did instead of taking accountability. Very good. I got a dozen messages from people who had been in my boyfriend's position before, and I want to apologize if my post was triggering in any way. So I listened to the majority and told my boyfriend. We did the right thing. We dropped the truth bomb.
That is great. I love when Reddit convinces someone to do the right thing.
Yes, it is refreshing.
Refreshing.
I texted my boyfriend that I missed him a lot, and he said that he could drive down and stay for a couple of days since he could work remotely if he wanted to, but I don't have that option. He basically left as soon as I asked him to, and it takes him about 4 hours to reach my city, in which I had enough time to get the full story of that night. I asked a friend of mine if he could find out from the guy what happened without making it obvious. I was asking, and he agreed. I asked him to call me when he did so me and my friends could listen in. I wanted to know exactly what he said so I knew what to tell my boyfriend.
I don't like this approach.
Yeah.
Why are we bringing the other guy into this?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you can just say, hey, I know I made out with this guy. I don't actually remember what happened.
And why does all your friends need to listen too? That's
This is
weird.
For OP, you're a little strange. My friend is closer to that guy than I am, and they game together, so him going over to his flat isn't an uncommon occurrence. Initially, he was worried that he wasn't a good actor, but I told him exactly how to bring it up, and he did it pretty well, to be honest. He said he had seen me and him kissing and asked what was going on. The other guy laughed the whole thing off, saying he didn't think I'd be such a sleut and that my friend was a punt for dragging me away. What a nice guy.
Sounds like real salt of the earth man, a little gentleman.
Truly. My friend said the situation was pretty effed now since I had a boyfriend, and the other guy said if I didn't want him to kiss me, then I shouldn't have hung around him all night. But my friends told me I wasn't around him for more than 20 minutes in total. At least now I know I'm not the one who initiated the kiss, and he was much more sober than me since he recalled things that I had no recollection of saying. In my previous, I feel like, again, that's just kind of like
Deflecting
and taking less accountability.
Yeah.
You know, just tell them what you know, like you said. In my previous post, I said I remembered mentioning my boyfriend, and he said too, so I am trusting the little memories that I have of that night. A couple people messaged me saying I had been taken advantage of, but I honestly can't say that since I did kiss him back. That is a huge accusation to make, and I can't remember enough even to say that. Everything that guy said just confirmed to me that I needed to tell my boyfriend. I'm furious with him for the way he talked about my friend and I, but I'm not going to waste any more time on him. While my boyfriend was driving down, I texted him that I needed to talk to him about something important as soon as he got there, so I wouldn't chicken out. I live with 2 of my friends and they cleared out until I had talked to him, so I had no excuses. He looked so worried when he arrived. I think he thought I was going to break up with him since I was crying as well. Yeah, like, we need to talk as soon as you get here. Dude, bro thinks that he's gonna be in the doghouse. Meanwhile, she is in the doghouse.
I feel like that shows that he's in love, which makes me even sad.
Oh! He was being so unbelievably sweet and hugged me tightly and said he wanted to work it out and just wanted me to talk to him.
I'm sorry I cheated on you, babe. Imagine.
She's like, oh, it's okay. I just cheated on you, but it's fine.
Yeah,
We're good.
cancels each other out.
She's like, you're right. Let's work on it. Let's just keep like doing our thing.
Yeah, I forgive you. You don't have to worry about what I have to tell you.
Yeah, exactly. It's all good. It's all good. So I sat him down and told him not to interrupt me and to let me finish. I told him everything, taking X, kissing another guy, and waking up not remembering anything. I even told him that I contemplated not telling him anything, what the guy said on the phone, absolutely everything. Which, good move or not?
I have a question.
Talk to me.
Do we know that what she was given was actually X?
That's a very good question.
Does that make you sleepy?
X? No.
What does it do?
It's like
psychedelic.
Not psychedelic. It's more like well, I mean, there are
know.
psychedelic properties, but it's more it's an upper, so it's like a lot of energy. A lot of like you feel like feelings of love and euphoria, connection. Like you're more suggestible, which I mean, like maybe, but not memory loss.
Well, she said she was also like wasted.
Drunk? Yeah. I mean,
also.
drunk would be memory loss, but
no, it's a great question. We know that's what that actually was?
Yeah,
honestly,
and like could it have been something else that made her lose her memory and made her more suggestible, right? In that case, is it a different?
An entirely different scenario.
Which
is what I believe her friend or someone suggested.
But also, don't take drugs from strangers.
Don't do it.
Was it from a stranger? I forget.
I don't know that if
I feel like it was from a friend.
Oh, here we go. I know I got insanely drunk and stupidly said yes when I was offered X.
So potentially someone random offered her a drug that may or may not have been what she thought it was.
Yeah. I definitely think that's a possibility.
The possibility. That being said, still a dumb move. Don't take drugs from strangers. But you're also, when you're like getting like wasted and blackout drunk, when you're taking drugs from strangers, you are not setting yourself up, one, for your own safety and also to make the best decisions.
If you're
which is a red flag in of itself, regardless of what you actually did on those substances.
He was holding my hand tightly in the beginning, and by the end of it, he had his head in his hands as he listened to me finish. He just sat there in the end and stared at the floor. I knew I needed to give him time, but I don't know how long. We both just stared into space. I had no clue what he was thinking. I would have preferred if he just yelled at me so we could at least talk. I wanted to shake him into saying anything. When he finally spoke, his voice sounded soft, hurt. He asked me if I actually did want to see him or if I made him drive 4 hours just so I could tell him I kissed someone else. Oh, bruh. I said I did miss him, but I knew I needed to tell him what happened and didn't want to do it on the phone. I told him that I wanted to take full accountability and that as drunk or high as I was, that was no excuse, and I was so very sorry for hurting him this way. After this, I know I can't trust myself to drink in a responsible way and that I'm going to cut back on it.
Smart.
I've planned on going fully sober for 1 month just so I know I can and that nothing like this happens again.
These things aren't bad necessarily. It's just how you
got to moderate.
You gotta moderate.
You have to.
You gotta
moderate.
moderate.
And I really like the thing of like, just go sober for a month, just to make sure
just
you're
to prove that you are actually in control.
100%. He replied that this had just confirmed every insecure thought he had about our relationship. He said he always felt like I had one foot out the door and that he had pressured me into this relationship, and maybe I did this as a way of getting out. Whoa. Whoa. I said it was a drunken mistake and it didn't mean anything further. He said it meant he loved me, but I didn't love him. And had this been any other girl in the past, he would have been out the door, but he couldn't do that with me just yet.
Oh, because he loves her.
Dude. But like hearing that as OP, like ice in your veins, I feel. I couldn't say I loved him right now.
Oh.
Whoa.
Oh. So maybe she did do. Oh.
Maybe this was the what is it? Drunk thoughts or sober thoughts or drunk actions.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
I cared for him a lot and I could see myself being in love with him in the future, but I'm not there right now.
That's okay.
I haven't been in a relationship since my fiance, and it's been difficult for me to open my heart to someone else. I'm terrified of being left by someone else I love. Well, good news. You won't, because you don't love him.
Damn,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, yo. Sorry, just reporting the facts. I calls him as I sees him.
He is at his lowest point, John.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm just telling the truth.
Oh, man.
I'm just reading a textbook.
I do have a question here in a bit.
Okay. Ooh, I'm excited. I asked him if he could see himself ever forgiving me, and he said that he didn't know right now. I know I'm not the victim here, but hearing that was so painful. I just started sobbing, and being the amazing man he is, he comforted me, and I felt so disgusted with myself for hurting him. He held me against his chest, stroked my hair, and let me cry it out. And then he left, saying he was going to get a hotel and will come back tomorrow so we could talk when we're not so emotional, and after he decided what he wanted moving forward. I told him he could stay in my room and I'd sleep on the sofa, but he said he didn't think he could be around me right now and make a rational decision. Right now, I'm fighting the urge to go to him and make him stay any way I can. I know there's no magical words to fix this. Also, has anyone else been through anything like this? And how did you and your partner work past it? And we have some comments and an update that will close us out with some more comments. But let's chat for a second.
Is he simping?
By driving 4 hours to get broken up with? No. He's
not
just being a
simping.
good boyfriend.
Well, not for that. Like, one, it seems like I know he hasn't made a decision, but it seemed like he was like not super mad. Like he didn't leave right away. And then he said that he loved
was just
her.
Disappointed and sad because he actually does love her.
Yeah. I think he's hurt.
Which maybe is simping. I don't know. He's just in love.
Well, wait, simping for the driving out for the 4 hours, or
simping
for leaving the door open to a possibility of getting back together?
Yeah.
Leaving the door open.
Yeah, I get the feeling that
he's just in love.
Yeah, he's in love and he's like battling inside. There's probably like a voice that's like, hey, stay, like this is gonna be so good, just like, work through it or whatever. And then there's another voice that's like, she cheated on you, you can't live like
must
this.
Hit the gym.
You must hit the gym and get swole and listen to
Pick
certain
up
podcasts.
the iron the church.
Ooh. Yeah, I think that's what's happening here.
Okay.
Yeah. Had him drive 4 hours so you could tell him you cheated. Lol. Jesus, you're insufferable. Ouch. Looking for PC says, harsh. You know she did it in goodwill in a panic state, but I'll admit, must not have helped the situation. Do you think that was the right move to be like, hey, I want to talk about this in person, but it was like a 4 hour drive?
I mean, ideally, you come to him.
Yeah.
I still feel like it is a good thing to do in person, though.
Yeah, I think given the context of the driving, try to see if you can drive out to him.
Yeah, there was a reason that she couldn't drive out to him, right?
She couldn't work remote, so she couldn't drive down. But he's like, oh, I can drive down and work remote once I get to.
I mean, how about a weekend?
Yeah, save it till the weekend. Don't make him drive 4 hours. Yeah, just to hear that. I honestly think that like a phone call or a FaceTime in this context is okay. I wouldn't put the load on him 4 hours. Just for, that's also in a way like I
guess a phone call would be better.
It's the best setup, but in a way there is like a twinge of selfishness of like, I want to do the apology the best way possible.
Yeah. Almost like in the way that works best for the possibility of getting back together.
Right.
Which is like her own desire and goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think doing it over the phone is better.
But if she drives out, or if they're in a scenario where it's like a lot less like it's they live like 10-15 minutes away.
To have him drive 4 hours. I feel like that's pretty unfair.
Kind of a lot. God, OP just keeps misstepping.
Yeah.
Every single.
But on that front, I feel like it's way less of a I don't see it as bad as the cheating, obviously.
Oh, making him
drive
out?
Like,
no.
I don't think there's any maliciousness in that.
No. She's trying to do good, but yeah. Wamanjikado Narm says, guess who is currently on his way home right now? OP, it'll be a miracle if you ever hear from him again. You might want to check your socials and see if he is still on there. If he isn't, he won't be coming back. Ouch.
Bro, these Reddit people go like so hard. Like, I think there's a very good chance that he talks to you.
Totally. He seemed very conflicted.
Yeah, I just feel like these Reddit people have been like hurt really bad.
Dude.
Like they have gone.
Who hurt him?
Who
hurt you? They always go scorched earth. I wouldn't say, don't say anything online you wouldn't say to your friend in person. All right, boys. Guess what?
What?
We have a big, fat, juicy update.
Fat and juicy.
But before we get into this update, there's something you could do.
Update that little subscribe button below from red to white.
It should say subscribed, not subscribe. Subscribe.
We should actually look at what the subscribe button is.
I'm not even going to look at it. I don't even care.
Oh, it's white and it turns to black.
Guys, click that button, change it to the color. That means that you will see our videos. Imagine a world where you see our videos and you're one of the first people and you can comment and be like, first, whoa. That's a dope world to live in.
Yeah. Just change the color of the subscribe button if you're not subscribed.
Just do it. Just do it, please. All right, guys, let's get into this update. So, sorry I forgot to update this past week. It's been pretty crappy. I wrote down everything that happened, but wasn't in the mood to post it until today. My boyfriend came back the next day, and his demeanor had completely changed. I tried to hug him, and he sidestepped me. Psych.
Swerve.
Psych.
Ooh.
Miss me.
Ooh. Ooh.
And I asked him if we could go on a walk to talk since he didn't need my friends as an audience. Yeah, but before he could speak, I apologized again and promised to do whatever to make it up to him. And he said I didn't need it. He said he thought about it all night and came to the conclusion that we never should have started dating, no matter how in love he was.
Oh.
That the conception of our relationship was from me being drunk and sleeping with him, and that he should have treated it like a mistake rather than the start of a relationship.
Because that's how they got together.
Bro.
You lose like them how you get them.
Wow. I'm kind of speechless. He said he was tired of feeling like a second thought, and apparently made him feel that way. I kept on saying I wanted to be with him even though I know he deserves better, and that I knew what I was doing when we got together, and in what circumstances did I make him feel like he didn't matter. He said he's seen me in relationships when I care and love the person. He didn't get any of that.
Oh, dude, I feel like I'm being stabbed in the heart again and again.
Are you ready? You guys both forgot this. This next line, I guarantee your heart's going to dissolve now. After my fiance passed away, remember that?
Mm-hmm.
He was the one who pushed me to go to therapy, and I always refused since I didn't think I needed it. Yep. Yes. You forgot.
Oh, I forgot.
You forgot.
He was the one who got her over the fiance.
He literally, just purely as a friend, exactly as it should be, was supportive and was like, hey, you should get some therapy.
So
and
he saw how much she loved him.
Ooh.
Oh.
And he didn't want to be that second thought.
Bro, she was the first thought.
Damn. I didn't think I needed therapy, and he brought that up as well and said my life would continue to be a mess and I would continue to hurt people until I broke my destructive patterns and actually dealt with my emotions.
Which probably the excessive drinking and drugs is a way to mask any pain that she felt from the end of her.
She could be still grieving and not sure. I mean, that is a massive amount to process at a very young age in her defense.
Yeah, she's grieving.
I just had no clue what to say. I admit I'm the one that effed up, but it's one F up. It's not always indicative of some larger problem. A mistake is sometimes a mistake. He said he still loved me, but knew carrying on with a relationship right now would cause more problems between us later down the line, and he didn't want that.
True.
I told him I didn't understand. If he loved me, how could he just leave me?
Sometimes you have to let a good thing die.
Dude, this is we're getting some shots are being returned over here.
21 had some lines about this. I'm gonna pull it up.
Here we go. I'm excited. He said just because we wouldn't be together didn't mean he'd disappear from my life. He said anything that happened between us right now would be tarnished, and he wanted a relationship without guilt, and that wouldn't be possible right now. I saw how painful it was for him to say all of that to me. I'd never seen him cry before. He left after that since I couldn't talk to him anymore. I just felt so hurt and abandoned, and then felt guilty for feeling like that since I was the one who effed up, and it was just a vicious cycle. He kissed me when he said goodbye and said he'll check up on me soon. He texted me the next day just asking how I was, and I didn't know how to reply, so I didn't. He still messages me every day asking how I am and that he really wishes I would text back since he's worried about me. I can't find it in me to reply. I know he's asked my friends about me, but they said he just seemed concerned about me. I still can't believe he ended it.
All right. What 21 has to say.
What does Mr. Savage have to say about this?
Savage.
21 Savage is the rapper, to be clear.
He's a rapper. Ball Without You by 21 Savage.
Yep.
This line right here is incredible. I'd rather have loyalty than love, because love don't mean jack. I see love as just a feeling. You know someone, you can love someone and still stab them in their back. It don't take much to love. You can love somebody and just by being attached.
21.
The loyalty is an action. You can love or hate me and still have my back.
Facts. Honestly,
pretty fire,
dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That part.
I didn't know 21 was writing bars like that.
Honestly, he's grown a lot.
He really has.
He really has. He really has. The only positive is that I haven't drank anything in about a week, and it's much more difficult than I initially anticipated, but I'm going to carry on and try to finish a month, which, maybe that's another sign that this is good. This is a good wake-up call, potentially. I'll update if anything else changes, but it probably won't. And ladies and gentlemen,
yes,
we are closing out
with some relevant comments.
With one relevant comment that OP really, really goes in on. Okay. Really goes in on and breaks down. And now this, and context, this was before this update we just read. This comes from Long Number. Also,
I wonder if we're going to get any context on because I feel like other people would have seen, was everything consensual? Did she have her full faculties?
Yes.
What about the drug?
Yeah.
Or what about the substance that she ingested? Was there anything there? I wonder if we're going to get some context.
I feel like that there should be a worry for her safety and checking it. Maybe,
yeah. I feel like everyone's crucifying her off the bat and hey, what she did, there was a lot of wrong, but let's also
1,000,000%.
She's okay.
Yeah, 100%. So this is a quote from OP earlier. Also, has anyone ever been through anything like this, and how did you and your partner work past it? Long Number, a comment or response to that. Yeah, I will share, but I don't think it will help you get back together. I'm now in my mid-30s. I've been with my wife since we were 20. We were long distance off and on for the first years. We never really set clear boundaries on what was and wasn't over the line. Which I don't know if this is what we're going to get, but it kind of sounds like a classic. We didn't really put any labels on it, So I was just...
I mean, if you don't put labels on it and don't discuss what your boundaries are, they're going to get broken.
This is true. But You know what I'm trying to say. Like,
yeah. But I feel like
if you're dating for like a year,
but so many people have different definitions
you're so
of
right.
what it means to be in a relationship. And
You're
so
so
if you
right.
don't define it and say what it means to be in a relationship, then you're setting yourself up for failure.
You're 100% right. Dancing with other people when we went out was never discussed, although making out / anything approaching sex obviously was off limits. I would wingman with friends and talk / dance with girls, but never let anything escalate. Felt like it was harmless fun. Felt harmless. One night, 2 years into the relationship.
2 years.
2 years.
That's a while.
But they didn't discuss it.
Then wait, so it's
So it's
on.
okay.
So it's like 2 years of undefined relationship. That's a long time.
Yeah.
I think anything over
6 months.
We don't know if it's undefined.
anything over 8 months of undefined relationship is too long.
Yeah, you gotta at least figure out, at least have a conversation about what is off limits and how you guys feel. And we don't know if they've defined it or not yet. But one night 2 years ago into the relationship, I was very drunk and essentially got ditched at a party where I knew no one, with no way home except to wait for a ride that wouldn't be for over an hour. I thought, F it, I'll meet people and dance. I ended up dancing with a girl, which escalated into making out. She was talking to me about getting me back to her place. When we split to go to the bathroom, I sobered up, realized what I was doing, and went outside and waited for my ride. There were no witnesses, no way for me ever to get caught, but I felt guilty. And I knew if my roles were reversed, I would want my girlfriend to tell me. Great way to think about it. So I told her and said it was realized that it was easy for dancing with other people to escalate, so I'd cut it off. She didn't like it, but it wasn't even a fight. She asked for reassurance it wouldn't happen again, and I gave it. Then we said, I love you, and we did the dirty deed.
Spicy sleep.
Makeup sleep.
Spicy. We moved on, and over a decade later, I haven't done anything else that approached cheating. Factors that I think worked in our favor for getting over this that you may be. I didn't blame being effed up and gave a concrete plan for never repeating the mistake, which again, we don't know if she had something other than X.
Yeah.
To be fair, that is, I think
but
that
still,
is,
again,
it's not good to go get drunk and
it shows a lack
things.
of awareness and a lack of self-regulation.
It was clear there was no way she could have found out without me telling her. No friends around. We were both rational people and knew we had discussed being in love, and getting together didn't mean no one else could be attractive. I gave verbal and physical reassurance and did not give space unless it was asked for. What does that mean? I gave verbal and physical reassurance and did not give space unless it was asked for. So I guess he they stayed kind of like intimate, not just literally verbal.
I think
and
it means with his partner.
With
so
his
it's
partner,
like, hey,
we stayed like intimate.
Yeah, like hey,
lovey-dovey.
I care about you. I love you. This isn't gonna happen again. I'm not just gonna be like, hey, have some space to figure it out.
Right, unless it was
specifically asked
okay, yeah, that makes sense. I told her at a convenient time and did not make her drive 4 hours to hear my confession. I didn't make her comfort me. We had already discussed being committed to each other and planned to spend our lives together. There was no question about whether I actually loved her or had a foot out the door. I was able to tell her I loved her and mean it. All in all, I think this is something you could get over if you were otherwise committed to this guy, and if the story here is really the whole thing. But bottom line, you couldn't tell him you loved him and meant it. I think it's over.
Facts.
Dude, what a
That's the
line
nail
to
in the
end.
coffin. And also, what a great story. What a great story that I feel like shows you can F up, and this is how you get through it.
Yes.
You know?
And to the credit of Sam's incredibly solid golden rules, there are situations where people are together, truly in love, truly in committed relationships for years, and they lean on that foundation and actually being accountable for their actions, actually trying, actually empathizing,
and actually loving each other.
Loving each other, working, actually putting in the work.
You
all of
have
those things, all the
momentum
things.
behind the relationship, and sometimes that momentum can carry you over significant bumps in the road.
Yes.
So for every 4 years.
That's honestly, that sentence you just said, that's really the Sam
Golden
Rule hypothesis theory.
Yeah.
Statement mission.
But you know what I have a theory about?
What?
I have a theory that there's a certain percentage of you that have not clicked the subscribe button.
What are you doing?
Commit to us. Say you love us by hitting subscribe.
Lean into the foundation of this relationship.
It's been at least a few months.
At least has it been a year?
Has it been
2 years, guys? I know some of you have been watching.
And I know commitment is scary.
I know.
But if you ride us right now, you will be happy.
Just shut up and ride me.
Shut up and ride me.
Please click subscribe.
But I also want to click on this next story.
Let's do it.
My married boss has been giving me spicy signals, but I rejected her advances.
Get that bag, dog.
Yeah, you can use that against your boss. It doesn't say male. It just says an I, 31, still don't know how to feel, how it happened, and why she wants this. She's 47, married, and I've been working with her for 3 years. And until last week, our relationship was very good, but strictly professional. The most that had happened between us is a kiss on the cheek when she greets me in the morning, as she does with almost everyone.
Wow.
She got a little European
You
Spanish.
probably might get a little tongue, though.
Maybe I think she wants to give you a little tongue. By the way, this comes from user Battery Mad on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, she and I spent a lot of time together, as over time, she made me her right hand, taking me to meetings and meals very often, sometimes just us. I've met her husband, 51, and we get along very well. For what I've seen, they have a very good life and a great marriage, and I understand where this came from. She asked me to have lunch with her, as we always do, but this time she kept looking at me, asking about intimate details about me, all ending in her saying she always been interested on me. At first considering me kind of cute, like a puppy she was taking care of. Ooh. But over time, she started to look at me as a man.
Aww.
She had a feel for attraction as we spent time together and now wanted to go deeper into this. I think she wanted you to go deeper into her. I've always seen her as a mentor and a friend, nothing more. I owe her so much. She helped me to get this job, teach me a lot, always giving me advice, and I'm very grateful to her.
Yeah, you owe her a lot, man. Pay up.
Yeah.
It's time.
And because all of this, I'm afraid of any answer I could give her. I'm not sure if our relationship will become bitter. She could resent me, or things could become uncomfortable. I'm not comfortable with cheating. I can't say yes, even after she told me she had already solved it and wouldn't be a problem. She told me she would give me time to think about it, and since then, she kept behaving as always. But it feels so different now. Sorry if I had any mistake writing this. English is not my first language.
Dude, they gotta be working in accounting.
Well,
the freakiest people I know are in accounting.
What people do you know in accounting?
Dude, it makes sense because it's a really boring job.
And they they need to make this to make it spicy.
Yep.
Make it worthwhile.
Why are they called freaking the sheets, man? This is why they're freaking the sheets.
Satan the streets, freaking the sheets.
Not the Excel and the Excel sheets.
Ooh, nice. There is an update. What would we?
I mean, just say no if you don't feel comfortable. You could go, you could level up.
You say no, and then you got HR.
Yeah.
But again, this woman has done everything for you and made you her right-hand man.
Yeah. You're in a tight spot, dude.
You're in a tight spot. Let's read the update. Reading the comments had helped a lot into understanding lots of things. First of all, it was hard for me to even think about being sexually harassed by my boss. I couldn't comprehend of being a victim because I didn't feel like it. But so many of you pointing to it made me realize about the context. After thinking a lot that night, I decided to do what most people told me. Start collecting evidence about the situation and her behavior to have something I can use to protect myself. That's actually very smart. Over those first days, I had some texts with her saying what she wanted, but something just felt off. I didn't feel comfortable. I owe so much to this woman that I just couldn't do this without giving her at least a last chance to come clear. I asked her if we could talk, just the two of us, just in case I had my phone recording audio.
Uh-oh. Is this a dual consensual state or not?
I don't know. I stayed at her office after the job. On her words, it would be the better place to have privacy.
Ooh, I bet.
I told her I thought about her offer. She was curious about my answer, but something felt weird. Is she testing him? Do you think she's testing him?
Maybe.
I decided to be completely honest with her. So I told her that, with all the respect she deserved, I was declining her offer. When she asked why, and if I didn't consider her attractive, I told her that before all this was a situation, I could see her as a mentor and as a friend. That I admire, respect, and I'm very grateful to her. But I just couldn't. I told her that. The fact that she is a married woman, even if she says that that shouldn't be a problem, makes me too uncomfortable. I respect her. And I respect myself a lot too, to be a part on this affair. That In other circumstances, if she wasn't married, I would be glad to accept her invitation.
Oh, wow.
But for our sake and the sake of our job relationship, I must say no.
Oh, now she's going to want it even more.
Yeah, you want what you can't have.
Yeah.
At first, she seemed to be calm.
Okay.
She accepted my answer and promised me that there would be no problem between us.
All right.
All right. But she slowly started to break down.
Oh, no.
Until she was crying a lot.
Oh, no.
She seemed so hurt, so heartbroken. I didn't know what to do except for hugging her tight and trying to calm her. This is how she hooks you in.
What?
She's sinking her teeth into him. She's like, I'm emotionally vulnerable.
There's probably something going on behind the scenes. We don't know.
I don't know.
Let's get more context before we assume.
After she calmed down a little, she told me everything. Some weeks ago, she found that her husband was cheating on her.
Oh.
It was the 4th time.
Oh my gosh.
She told me about their marriage, that for both of them, separation or divorce is not an option. They love each other and the idea of being apart is too much for them. They tried it after the second time he cheated and both felt miserable. So she ends up forgiving him, giving him another chance, and they live happy until he cheats again.
Oh, wow.
She told me that over the years, he had been the best husband she could ask for. But after the last time, she was so tired of all of this, she was about to end things with him. But they talked and decided to give a last chance on their marriage. That's when her husband convinced her to have her own affair. Hey, honey, I love you so much. I know I've cheated on you 4 times. You know what will make this fair? As if you have an affair. You know, that makes sense. 4-1, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I bet he's going to take a well whenever she does have an affair.
Yeah. He's going to be like, oh, now it's even. So I'm going to do it again.
Nah, I think he's going to.
Oh, yeah. He's going to blow up.
He's going to be pissed.
Yeah. In order to save their marriage, they wanted to open it. That's why she proposed it. It was like a way to make things fair between them. It's an eye for an eye, and that everyone just gets blind.
Well, do you sleep with her at this point or not? I already know what Keelan's answer is.
I'll be like, oh man, your marriage is in trouble. Let me help you out.
Let me save it. Let me help you out.
I'm gonna save this marriage.
I'm gonna save this marriage tonight.
She explained to me that she decided to ask me, as I was the only one she could trust enough to ask for something like that. And she hopes that after all we have done together, I can at least think about it without creating a problem or telling anyone. Now it's like a weird dynamic.
Yeah.
Now it's all out there.
Is she manipulating, or is this actually what's going on?
I mean, yeah.
I'll be like, I'm gonna need written permission from your husband that this is what's happening.
I need a side document that that this is all allowed and this is good.
Pass this through HR, and I think we can make this happen.
I think we can schedule this. But after I told her I wanted to talk, she started to have lots of doubts and regretted to ask me. But she believed I was about to say yes.
Oh wow.
And after I said no, she had so much relief and immediately felt heartbroken. But you couldn't feel heartbroken with us if you're joining us live 3 p.m. PST every weekday. Just tap our profile.
Tap it. Wow. So he's not going through with it.
Yeah, because he said he's in a relationship.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. If he wasn't in a relationship.
No. He's not doing it because she's in a relationship.
Well, no,
I don't think
she's in a relationship, but I also think he doesn't
He's not.
Oh, he's not.
It's just a crazy entanglement, though. If you make this happen, ooh.
Keep talking. I want to check if he is or isn't.
I don't think so. Smart that they are weary of this and not going for it. I appreciate this from OP, because once you cross that line, dude, it gets tricky. It gets weird.
Yeah, I think he doesn't say anything about a partner, which is
he's single.
He's single. Wow.
Wow. We already know what Keelan's going to do.
No, I'm going to say I'm proud of OP really not trying to affect the relationship. But now that this is all open, this is like a weird dynamic. You're like, I have the green light.
Yeah.
Let's see what is discussed further between OP and his boss. She said she loved her husband. And after all, she couldn't do this to him. She felt so guilty for accepting this idea, for accepting all the ideas that would be followed after doing it. And the thing that hurt her the most is that she realized she wasn't able to do this to him.
Oh, wow.
But he had done it to her more than once.
That is really tough.
I consoled her for hours. When we were done talking and left to our homes, it was almost midnight. She thanked me for everything, for consoling her, for her trust, for being a gentleman, and promised me that everything will be fine. And she said she was happy I ended up being loyal and a good friend. After that, the weekend was very quiet. And today, she seemed to be way better. She told me everything is okay. They're talking, and I don't have anything to worry about.
Ooh. Good luck, girl.
OP made the
gentleman move.
Gentleman move.
I like that.
He made this the best move. At the very end of the day, his boss didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like it seems like the idea was forced upon her by her husband. And
good job talking out with her. That's awesome.
Yeah. No, she seems like she just trusts you a lot, which is great.
Now she can trust you more.
She trusts you even more. So you're going to definitely get a promotion. You got to get a promotion and maybe a bonus, or maybe take her job.
Boners.
But that's the end of that story, guys.
You traded a boner for a bonus. Whoa.
This is such an immature duo right here.
Oh.
My husband never shows me affection, so I cheated on him.
Only right.
Yeah, the gold standard. It's a long read, and I apologize in advance. However, since I'm Indian and not a lot of people here are, I thought context might help. I, 38 female, was married for 7 years to my college sweetheart, who's also 38. We're both Indian, and divorces are still uncommon here. People believe that you have to, quote, compromise to make a marriage work, even when it's struggling.
I mean, that is true. Compromises do make marriages work.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
My ex-husband and I were the first in our families to divorce, which made this especially difficult. And by the way, this comes from user WastedPainter67 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, a bit about our relationship and marriage background. We met in college and shared common interests, and were quite progressive in our values. It was an interstate marriage with differences in customs, food, and family culture, but we were deeply in love, and I felt we'd figure it out.
Sounds like a Romeo and Juliet story.
Yeah.
2 star-crossed lovers across
northern
lands.
and southern India.
Yeah.
That's my guess, at least. I don't know.
Do you know 2 Indian states? I feel like you would.
No.
States?
No. Yeah.
I don't.
There's states in India.
I want to say, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
Gotta fix that. We were very physically intimate in college and after. I never expected physical affection to become an issue.
I mean, if you have a long enough relationship, it's going to wane. It's going to wax and wane. But the most important thing is that you're friends.
Yeah, you got to stay friends.
Yeah.
Things changed drastically after marriage. My husband completely avoided intimacy after the wedding. He didn't want to consummate the marriage. And on our honeymoon and in the months afterward, he avoided all physical closeness.
Dude, something's up. He's cheating.
He's
cheating.
He's doing something. I don't know. In our first 3 years, we were intimate only twice. In 3 years?
Were those like 2 times great though?
They must have
make up for it.
They must have lasted a long time. My God.
Or maybe not at all.
Oh.
Like two pumps.
Hey.
Not only did
I wouldn't know.
In our first 3 years, we were intimate only twice, and each time I had to practically beg for it. He would just say, I don't feel like it. When we went to the doctor, there were no health issues, and the doctor even suggested medication to help with his libido. My husband tried it once and then never again, saying that it gave him a headache. He refused to follow up for other solutions. We were living in a joint family with 7 people under one roof, so I thought maybe the lack of privacy was affecting him. That's
7
fair.
people under one roof is a lot.
7 people, you can't bump uglies with 7 people listening.
I don't know. People are bumping uglies in this house, and there's a lot of people in this house.
Anyways.
Wait, what did you mean by that?
What do you mean people are bumping?
We moved to another city.
Oh, look who's getting all serious now, guys. Isn't that funny? Look at him. I'll be the funny guy now.
We moved to another city and took up jobs there, hoping that a fresh start might change things, but the problem remained, and I continued to feel alone and frustrated. The pressure for a baby. Well, doesn't sound like they're going to have a baby anytime soon. As with most Indian marriages, soon the question about kids began. I brought up our intimacy issues again, and after a lot of back and forth, he agreed to see an infertility doctor.
But you haven't even tried.
Yeah, that's not. Do they not know how that works?
You're infertile. It's that you haven't bumped uglies enough.
Yeah. He agreed to see an infertility doctor. This was where I learned that with treatments like IUI or IVF, we could try for a child without needing regular intimacy. My husband latched onto this idea. He was willing to have the spicy sleep only when I was ovulating with no other intimacy. I felt extremely torn, but I also wanted to be a mother, and I was emotionally worn out. So I agreed, and I went through several IUI cycles, which I don't know what that means. What is IUI?
Infertility.
Uterus insertion.
Yeah.
Dealing with a bunch of children here, guys. I'll just look it up because the internet's right next to me. You keep reading.
Okay. I agreed and went through several cycles of IUI, which either failed or resulted in miscarriages. Oh, no. That's it, the toll on my mental health. Yeah, it would take a toll on anyone's mental health.
It stands for intrauterine insemination.
My self-esteem plummeted. I developed depression, anxiety, and a severe body image complex, feeling like my appearance was somehow the issue. I used to be a confident, healthy person, but with my husband constantly rejecting me, I started to see myself as unattractive. Despite multiple suggestions from doctors, he refused therapy, saying it wasn't real medicine. What a classic big, strong man take on therapy when he clearly needs some kind of therapy. I don't know what it is. COVID and isolation with an indifferent partner. In our 6th year, my husband got a job in his hometown, so we moved back and got our own place. When COVID hit, we were stuck in lockdown together, but I felt more isolated than ever. I had checked out emotionally, and we were basically just friendly roommates. Around this time, I grew close to a coworker. We were working on a lot of projects together, and he was a divorced man going through his own struggles. Found a nice little divorced man at work. We started connecting daily through calls and video chats. This is all long distance because it's COVID. COVID cheat.
I feel like that makes the relationship even better because it's not like hot and bothered necessarily. It's like they're becoming friends first.
Yeah, it's a slow burn.
It's a slow burn.
It's a slow boil. We started connecting daily through calls and video chats, and he genuinely listened and made me feel valued. One thing led to another, and we began a romantic relationship online. I know it's wrong to emotionally and physically cheat, but for the first time in years, I felt truly wanted and loved. We never met in person, but that doesn't change the fact that I was in a relationship outside of my marriage. And normally I'd be like, that's not very cool. But given everything that I've read, I fully support this.
I don't support it still. I think like you should, I don't think it's ever good to lie in general, like unless it's like, for safety reasons. And so I think you should divorce this person first and then pursue this.
But they can't.
Why?
It's like there's like a whole process that they got to go through to do the divorce. They're in India.
You have to do a whole process anywhere.
I guess you could
divorce.
But this is also in the middle of COVID. So they can't separate probably.
You can separate.
Given the fact that this dude, you were married for 3 years and you were only intimate twice.
Yeah, no,
this guy doesn't even like you.
So to be clear.
So why should he even care if she's cheating on him? He clearly doesn't even like her.
I think communication is always important. And so I think she should just communicate. It's like, hey, like I'm not getting any intimacy for you. I want to explore other people. See what he says.
And he just goes, no.
And then it's like, I want a divorce.
And he goes, no.
And then you run.
And you can't because the entire country's locked down.
Then you run in place.
You see why I'm supporting this woman? Discovery and fallout. My husband eventually became suspicious and found messages on my phone. He confronted me, gave me an ultimatum to quit my job and stop all contact with my coworker or get a divorce. I chose divorce without hesitation.
Yeah, easy.
As I'd felt trapped and broken in the marriage for years. My husband, who had been indifferent for so long, suddenly became emotional, telling me that he loved me and that I was destroying our marriage.
I think you already destroyed it, buddy.
You destroyed the marriage by not destroying something else more than twice a year. Actually, twice in 3 years, which is insane.
Yeah.
He even convinced friends and family that I was irrational. When I mentioned the lack of physical intimacy and how many times I'd asked him to work on it, people said things like, but he's caring. He never hit you, so why ruin the marriage? Bro, false equivalency.
Yeah.
Being like, I know that you guys are never intimate, but he doesn't hit you.
But I mean, if he is good in other, like he is like a good, is he a good friend? I mean, he wasn't supportive in other ways, right? Besides intimacy.
I think what happened was everything was kind of going well until they got married, and then he did a complete 180.
Yeah,
He stopped caring about her. He stopped showing any kind of affection whatsoever. He stopped being intimate.
Affection. It was like there was no intimacy of any kind.
Right. It was like
not just physical, like emotional.
They're like
intimacy.
weird roommates now.
Yeah.
Like,
which isn't a marriage.
Now 0%.
Yeah.
They also said, you've invested 7 years in this marriage. I mean, it can't be that bad. Or if you had a problem, why didn't you bring it up earlier?
Because you were trying to work on it.
Yeah, because you're trying to fix the marriage, which is what I think everyone wanted them to do anyway.
Yeah.
Guilt and conflicting emotions. I feel conflicted. I did cheat, and I know that hurt my husband. I also know that cheating is bad in any and every scenario. All right, I've really lost any leg I had to stand on. But
she's like, I shouldn't have done this.
Even she was like, I know what I did was wrong. Are you sure about that?
You get the Dakota pass.
Yeah. Are you sure about that? But I also feel that I was denied love, intimacy, and affection for years. I did everything I could to make the marriage work, but I had needs, desires, and basic emotional needs that were all completely neglected. The silent treatment I received every time I raised the issue made me feel small, guilty, and even crazy. I wasn't allowed to talk to my friends or family about it, as he said it would be shameful. I went through invasive IUI and IVF treatments, practically pleading for any kind of intimacy, but my husband wouldn't even try. Societal pressure was humongous. Divorce is looked down upon, and spicy sleep is not discussed openly. Women are supposed to adjust and compromise. I eventually had to take a stand and estrange my family and a lot of well-wishers to push through the divorce and finally break free. By the way, I don't want you to ever break free of joining our live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. All you got to do is tab our profile. Yes, and we do have a little bit more of this story, but let's discuss. I guess I have some things
Do you have anything to say for yourself?
I
am sorry.
I apologize.
Yeah. To
Cheating
everyone
is
that
never,
I've hurt.
Look, here we go. I'm going to formally say that cheating is never okay, right? It's always the wrong thing to do. But out of every situation I've heard so far, that one was like, I mean, he basically pushed you to do it. He basically forced you until there was no other option left for you to find, like, feel like a worthwhile human than to like find this affection from another person.
No one forces you to cheat.
Yeah, but like she felt so low after this like years and years of complete
understandable
neglect. Complete neglect.
It's understandable why she did, for sure. Like it's like I think we can,
and that's where I'll leave that.
It's
understandable.
I think we can understand why someone makes a bad decision, but still ensure that we say like, hey, there wasn't communication here. This is like not a good thing. But Dakota, I love cheating.
That's me. I just said it. Look, it's understandable. That's where I will leave it at. It was completely understandable.
And I
that
like
you
it.
Did that. I was not shocked
and
at
I
all.
love it. And I love it.
And
Dakota
I personally, I think that he doesn't, he didn't know what he was missing. Anyway. After the divorce, I focused on my mental health, became financially independent, and started working out regularly. I lost 35 kilograms in a healthy way and found a new confidence in myself. My current partner, the coworker, has been my rock, supporting me and helping me rebuild my self-worth.
So they got They got together. They got booed up.
Sounded like it worked out. Not saying I support cheating, but it sounds like it worked out perfectly for
like
you.
After you cheated, everything kind of fell into
Sounds
place.
like after you cheated, your whole life got a lot better in this one particular instance.
I just say I support you being with your best partner, that you deserve the love you want, and you deserve the best in who you're dating and who you're with.
My family has also come to terms with the divorce and has slowly but gradually seeing why I did what I did. Still, I sometimes feel guilty for the way things ended with my husband, and I'm haunted by thoughts of being the bad guy for leaving and seeking love elsewhere. Am I the a-hole for seeking affection outside of a marriage that I felt I had no way to fix? No. 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 I say no. I say no. There's no kids, by the way. I thought there was a kid. Chat informed me that there's not. There's no kids. If there were kids, I would say yes. If there were children in the equation here, I would say you were the a-hole for providing a blueprint of like trauma, basically.
I think everyone's the a-hole.
Their life.
I think everyone's the a-hole. Because
I disagree.
I think everyone's the a-hole.
I disagree.
I think he's more the a-hole, but I think
it's an everyone sucks type situation.
Yeah, you cheating is ruining your own integrity. So you shouldn't do it.
That's funny.
We should make a drinking game if we take a shot every time Keon says read.
Read.
But that is the
read.
That is the end of that story and the end of that episode.
My daughter hid my husband's affair. I don't know how to move on.
What are you doing that for, daughter?
Maybe you move on into 2025.
You should.
I, female 49, was married to my ex-husband Derek, 49 male, for 20 years before divorcing a few months ago. We have 2 kids, a daughter, 22 female, and a son, 17 male. I found out that Derek was having a 2-year affair and my world was shattered. But what hurt almost as much was discovering that my daughter had known about the affair the whole time. She actively hid it from me for 2 years, lied, covered for him, and never once tried to warn me. And this comes from throwaway Liz and a Blizz on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So when I found out, I was devastated, not just by my husband's betrayal, but by my daughter's choice to keep it from me. She was young at the time. I understand it was a difficult position for her, but the pain was immense. I never confronted her directly, thinking it might affect her as she was about to go off to college. I just told her I knew, that I understood, and I tried to move on. But after she left, I found myself distancing myself from her more and more. It wasn't planned. I just needed space to heal, and that meant not calling her as often or reaching out as much. Fast forward a year and a half later, and I've started dating someone, 41 male, who has a 10-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. Recently, we all went to Disney together, and he posted a family photo of us on social media. For context, my boyfriend covered all of the expenses as a gift for his daughter's birthday, wanting to make it special for her. Along with my son and me, she chose her 2 cousins to come along, making it a big family style trip that was all about her. My daughter must have seen it because she didn't call me for over a month afterwards. And honestly, I wasn't as affected by her absence as I would have been before. I still love her, but every interaction brings up that pain. She was screaming, saying I obviously hadn't forgiven her and that I'd shut her out on purpose. She accused me of quote unquote replacing her with my boyfriend and his daughter. She kept saying it was a long time ago. I was a kid. I didn't mean to hurt you. She said she thought she was doing the right thing by staying quiet. Also, redoing the math, I think she might have been more around 18.
Old enough to still be able to make a decision about that.
That she didn't know how to tell me and that she was terrified of breaking her family apart. She asked me if I'd ever forgive her or if I'd moved on for good. I tried to tell her that I loved her and never wanted to replace her, but she kept pushing that I should just get over it by now and that I'd abandon her for this new life. To top it off, my ex-husband later called me, furious, accusing me of leaving my daughter for a younger man and a new family and a big old bag at Disney World.
Yeah, that big old Disney bag.
I added that part. He even had the nerve to call me selfish for moving on. Ironically, his girlfriend is 30 and he's the one who blew up the family with the affair.
Exactly.
You cannot talk. You got to be like Hannah and
Keep it silent.
Nice.
It's like no one understands that I'm still trying to recover from years of betrayal, and it feels like I'm expected to just let it go, as if my pain doesn't matter. My son, who lives with me, found out about his sister hiding the affair after overhearing my husband's mom and sister talking. Remember, he's the younger one. He's currently 17, I believe.
Yeah.
He was crushed and hasn't forgiven her either, and they've barely spoken since. I never wanted him to know, but it feels like the entire family is divided now, and I don't know how to fix it. I'm in therapy, but I still feel lost. Part of me knows she was young and didn't know how to handle it, but another part of me feels like she chose him over me. I love my daughter, but every time we talk, the hurt resurfaces. I don't know if I'm failing her as a mother or if I'm protecting myself. I feel like I've emotionally checked out, and I don't know how to reconnect. And we have an edit coming up.
God, you got to talk to her about what you're feeling. She doesn't know.
I feel like we need some family therapy. Like, mom's in therapy, which is great, but I think that the two of them need to sit down with someone to help. Like, hey, dad is the one that started all this. Why are we squabbling with each other? Edit. Just to clarify, my divorce actually happened a few months ago, not 3 years ago, as I had originally mentioned. My sister, who is a bit of a scatterbrain, encouraged me to post here and typed out much of it for me. In the process, she got the timeline wrong, and I didn't catch it before posting. My daughter was 17, so now we fully understand the age, when she found out about the affair. She had a lot going on at the time, including having to change schools due to some personal issues, and had to repeat a year. So when I found out, it was less than 2 years ago. I hope this clears up any confusion. We have an update. First, I want to thank everyone who responded to my post. I was honestly overwhelmed by the sheer number of responses. I tried my best to read through as many as I could, and some of the advice was hard to hear, but necessary. It's been a lot to take in, but one comment really stayed with me. Someone mentioned how fragile life is and how little time we really have with the people we love. That struck me deeply, and I've been so consumed by the pain and anger that I forgot to think about what I'd like my relationship with my daughter to look like in the long run. If something were to happen tomorrow, would I be okay with leaving things as they are?
That really crystallizes things if you think like that.
Gets it right into perspective.
Yeah.
That thought stayed with me, and within a few days, I decided to contact my daughter. I told her I wanted us to talk, not to rehash the past or point fingers, but to figure out how we could move forward. She was hesitant at first, which I completely understood. We had the conversation a few nights ago, and while it wasn't easy, I'm grateful she was willing to open up. There were tense moments, and I won't lie, it was hard to hear some of what she said, but for the first time in a long while, I felt like we were finally addressing what had been festering between us. So we talked about what had happened, and I finally asked her for the truth about everything. When I first discovered her father's affair, he told me that she had always known about it. In fact, he claimed that she had been his ally, hiding things from me multiple times. He even said that she disliked me and was on his side. Hearing that from him was devastating. Conspiracy theory, I think that the dad lied everywhere.
Yes.
And pitted the daughter against her, and the daughter said none of that.
Like, he's getting it scot-free.
I'm astounded that, I mean, if I was her, I'd be like, no, she didn't.
Are we trusting the
It
cheater
sounds like-
or your child daughter?
Yeah, he got caught and is now like, and by the way, our daughter is on my side and doesn't like you anymore.
She loves me cheating. She's
Yeah.
like, oh, this is great. Hearing that from him was devastating. I couldn't believe my daughter would do something like that or feel that way about me. The way I found out about the affair was awful, and the idea that my daughter had played any part in it, even unknowingly, made it so much worse. At first, she was very reluctant to talk about it, but eventually she opened up and started sharing everything, including what led up to her actions. A few months before discovering the affair, she had been involved in a difficult situation at her high school. Without going into specifics, it was a matter where her actions led to serious consequences. The school had a zero tolerance policy, and as a result, she was expelled. She had to transfer to a new school and repeat the whole school year. On top of that, her grades took a hit, and she was finding it challenging to get back on track. When it happened, I felt it was important for her to face the full weight of her actions and take responsibility for what she had done. I grounded her, took away the electronics, hoping the consequences would help her reflect and grow. She's already had all this punishment from the school and everything else. Do we layer additional punishment in terms of grounding and everything else? Does that hurt us? Does that help us?
I think it could help, but you should probably frame it the right way. Because it's still, we don't know exactly what her behavior was or what was going on, but whatever it is it's like not a positive thing and it needs to be addressed. So you don't want like it to just be like, oh, school expelled me, but my parents, they didn't care. It's like,
yeah.
You have to be like, I think, maybe instead of being like, you're grounded from electronics, it's like, maybe like no electronics will be better. Don't even make it about punishment. Just make it about
Yeah.
change. Just trying to switch things up.
I wanted her to understand the gravity of the situation and emerge from it as a better person. So her father, however, completely disagreed with my approach. He felt I was being too harsh, insisting that she had already learned her lesson and needed support rather than punishment. The tension in our household became unbearable. Between my frustration with him and my disappointment in her actions, I found it harder and harder to communicate properly with her. There was constant fights, arguments that seemed to erupt over everything and nothing at the same time. It wasn't just them. Therapy over the past year helped me realize that I played a part too. My hurt and frustration came out as anger, and instead of addressing things calmly, I let my emotions take control. I was constantly angry and frustrated, and my mood probably created an even more tense and uncomfortable environment for everyone. So when she found out about this affair shortly after, she was angry at me and started reeling from everything that had happened. She admitted that part of her decision to stay quiet was fueled by her desire to get back at me. She felt like keeping the secret was her way of taking revenge, though she now realizes how wrong that was. She also told me that she tried to get her father to come clean, but he discouraged her from doing so, telling her that I had already been disappointed enough by her situation and she should make things worse. Feeling trapped, she lied and kept lying, hoping it would somehow blow over without me finding out. Hearing this from her was heartbreaking. It didn't justify what she did, but it helped me understand her perspective. Knowing her father pressured her to keep his secret makes my anger towards him even stronger. He broke everything with his affair and then used our daughter to cover for him, making her feel trapped and responsible for his lies. I hate what he put her through. To be honest, our marriage was already going through a rough patch at the time, and we likely would have ended up divorcing anyways. However, it's one thing to fail as a husband, but to fail so completely as a parent is unforgivable.
True. You don't go back from saying something like that. That's crazy.
That's such a great point. They always had a good relationship, and I never wanted to ruin that for her, even when I was angry at him. But seeing how he used her in his lies has only deepened my resentment. And then to be clear, it's almost 100% that he lied to OP saying, oh, the daughter enjoyed it or whatever. I guess she kind of did.
She did admit that she knew about it and used it as like a thing. But it is true also that the dad specifically was like,
he spun it.
You're already screwed up enough. Like, you think your mom wants to hear this?
Yeah.
It's like, ugh.
No. I told her that I've been hurt, not just by her actions, but how deeply they shook my trust in her. At the same time, I reminded her that I love her and I always will. And I said that while I can't change the past, I want to rebuild our relationship. We agreed to take things one step at a time, and I suggested we try online therapy together. And while she was hesitant at first, she agreed. She's already been seeing a therapist on her own and wasn't sure about opening up in a joint session, but I think she ultimately realized how much I want to make this work. I also brought up her brother. They've never had the closest relationship, and he's always been more of a reserved, independent person, while she's more outgoing and emotional. There's been tension between them in the past, and ever since he overheard what happened with her hiding the affair, they've barely spoken. I've tried to talk to him about maybe giving her another chance, even when I wasn't on the best of terms with her. I really want them to have a good relationship, but I also don't want to push him too much. He's his own person, and I don't want him to feel like I'm trying to force him into something that he isn't ready for or doesn't want to do. He's allowed to make his own decisions, and if they need time apart to heal, I will respect that. But you know what I respect the most, Dakota?
Tell me.
The fact that you can listen to full episodes with stories like this by going to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app and searching OK Storytime. Wow, so many things to break down.
And I saw some comments being like, clearly you don't have teenagers, and it's like not punishing student after they get expelled is wild. And it's like, it's true. I don't have teenagers.
Yeah.
But I'm more talking about trying to just reframe the concept of the punishment into something else so that they're more likely to even do it. Because if you try to be like, no electronics for you, then they're going to be like, oh, come on. Like, but if you can try to reframe it in their head, which might not work, but like, you got to try. And then if it doesn't work, you go, all right, well, I'm still taking your phone away.
So someone mentioned the unrealistic standards that we often hold women to, and I've been thinking a lot about that. I don't want to hold her to any impossible standard just because she's a woman. She is the light of my life, but sometimes I realize I've shared everything in such a negative way because of how it all played out. I'm just trying to make sense of it all. I don't know exactly where I stand or what I'm feeling at times. I'm just moving through life like everyone else, doing the best I can. Thank you all again for your advice and for giving me the push that I needed to start this conversation. It's not easy, but I'm hopeful we'll get through this one step at a time.
That's what you got to do.
I think we're on a good path to figuring it out.
One step at a time.
One step at a time.
One day at a time.
I like it.
Yeah. I found out that my girlfriend's having an affair, so I'm starting a new life.
Guess what? That's just fair.
New year, new me. Sorry, this is a long one. I work in politics in the dark, smoky room side. And for the past 6 months, my girlfriend and I haven't seen much of each other because of a recent promotion that's been the opportunity of a lifetime. Let's call her H. By the way, this comes from user Alone Again 11. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime. Submit them there. Helen and I have been together since university, and to be blunt, she was the love of my life. Sweet, dedicated, fiercely loyal, and my best friend. Together, we've done some pretty amazing things, and when I look back on my life highlights, our travels and years together will definitely be on there. Helen and I have been finding the time away from each other tough. I work from about 6:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. and tend to be on the phone on weekends. However, she's been really supportive and has continued to tell me to focus on the job for now. We both plan to move to New York City together once I'd completed this job. I know now that it's been a lot harder for Helen than she let on, and for me, I've just desperately missed my partner. However, long ago now, I came down into the bathroom to say good morning to Helen and noticed a big love bite on her neck, which she'd been hiding under big jumpers, which is she was probably just riding a horse and the horse bit her. That was no big deal.
It was a Nosferatu.
It was a Nosferatu.
Yeah, she just really wanted to, like, she went to the 5D experience.
I confronted her about said love bite, and as I hadn't been able to touch her in weeks after contracting scabies in Africa.
What? Bro, what do you do for a living?
He's a secret backroom political advisor guy.
I know, but like...
Now, he's not specific because it's very smoky, shadowy backroom.
Get more...
politics. He's like the guy making the decisions that like impact the real decisions. You know what I mean? He's like making the decisions no one knows about that no one votes for anyway. I knew it wasn't me. This all happened so fast, I barely remember anything that was said. I just remember the feeling that my stomach was suddenly lined with lead. She told me it was an allergic reaction, of all things, but after pressing her, it became clear she was hiding something. And then it quickly became clear that we both knew what had happened. It turns out that she'd cheated with a mutual friend that she secretly met up with. She says she went to him for advice about a relationship and ended up seeking affection from him. The pipeline needs to be studied. She told me, obviously, begged for another chance and asked me to marry her, and then eventually left in a taxi to her friend's house with her bags that I packed for her.
Oh, wow.
Good job, guy. I mean,
I cheated on you. Please marry me. Guy. I did this because I loved you.
I mean, honestly, though, like, I'm not saying that it gives her a pass. 6:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. and you're on the phone all weekend. You're just not, that's not, you can't be in a relationship.
Yeah.
That's not, you're in a relationship with your job only.
That's true. But still being like, hey, I don't think it's going to work out.
Right, exactly. That's when you just break up. You don't cheat on your guy.
You got
you
too
break
excited.
Up.
She's like, oh.
Or you discuss it. Say like, I feel like I'm really not in a happy place right now. Yeah. Like, I feel like I'm completely alone. Instead, she went to this other guy. Who knows why? Maybe she tried to talk before and he said, sorry, babe, I'm on the phone with Washington. I can't. Anyways, the house is all mine. We're not married and there's nothing legal to worry about here. After she left, I calmly got everything ready for work, made myself a packed lunch, ironed my shirt, and then just lost it. Sitting down with some whiskey and some smokes, wallowing in self-pity for the night. This has been my nightly routine for the last week. I've had a history of depression, so whilst this has hit me unbelievably hard, the numbness and feelings of emptiness ultimately make it easier to get things done. This guy does work in politics, dude. That's the most works in politics thing I've ever seen. I'm not a crying wreck. I'm just kind of done. Over the next few days, I kept silent, didn't respond to any of the 90 missed calls. Eventually, I rang her and told her we're over. I forgave her and dropped all of her things at my friend's house while Helen was out at work. Thing is, I really don't hate her for this. I understand how she was feeling, and I know my job got in the way of what was a very close and spontaneous relationship.
Dang.
We became different people. I can forgive her, but we have to be over. I'll never trust her again, and I can't have her in my life anymore, especially not when it's not even a good idea for me to have a partner while my life is like this. Whilst I forgive her, it doesn't mean I can ever love her like I did. The next few days kind of led to a few impulse decisions. I went straight to my boss, who was also one of my best friends, who, bless him, offered to give up all his annual leave so I could sort myself out.
Annual leave.
Vacation
just like
days.
the amount of like time that you get off per day. So he was like, I'll give you my
figure
days.
this out.
That's actually really crazy. That's really nice.
He's working in politics. He's like, I know this guy's going to be someone someday. You can have my vacation days.
Yeah, they've probably been in a lot of smoky back rooms together making a lot of shady deals.
You can have my vote.
So when I told him being in that house would just bring back bad memories, he made me an offer. A year-long position working on an enormous project for an international government, and I took it. does this guy do?
I don't know.
This
dude.
guy's super villain.
I feel like we're about to see the Loch Ness monster and Bigfoot dab up at the end here in a few sentences.
That'd be sick.
This involves a completely new role, a new life in a new country, and a completely different kind of office and project. So I put my house up for rent, which my brother will look after for me, and decided to just buy a ticket and head to my new home early before the position starts. It also makes the visa stuff easier. I have not told Helen because I've tried to maintain no contact, and she has all of her things already. Taxi's coming in about 2 hours. So here are my questions. Should I tell her? Is it classless to let her find out from a friend? Honestly, yeah, a little bit.
It's classless to cheat.
That's also fair. Actually, I take that back. What am I talking about?
We
I don't know what I said. I did erase that from the record.
Yeah, keep reading the questions and then I have my thoughts.
How do I get closure? What process can I use when I'm so removed from everything? How do I stop this being a quick fix? Is there a risk I get home after a year and it all just instantly comes back? I'm really fearful that all I'm doing is running away from my problem, and I'm worried moving away will mean I never engage with the fundamental betrayal. Any Redditors have tips for moving to a new country? How do you meet people? Have I been too rash? Importantly, anyone have any tips on getting over cheating? This is the second time I've been cheated on now, and whilst I'm quite happy to have a year of just being single, I'm worried about what happens after that. Is there even a point of trying to stay faithful to anyone? Thanks in advance, and thanks for all the support over the years, which has helped me manage my last week of life.
We taking the job?
I'm taking the job.
Taking the job.
Yes.
If I'm already the workaholic guy that this guy is, I'm taking the job.
Yep.
Well, it's a good answer for OP. Like, this is going to be something to distract him. That's how you get over cheating.
I do think that if you're struggling with feelings of closure, you do talk to her. There's nothing that she needs from you or deserves from you. She cheated on you. But for you, if you're having these feelings, having a conversation with her is the only way you're going to get any closure.
You're going to give the closure for OP. You don't owe her anything. It's what you need and what you want.
But he's the cool, smoky, dark room lobbyist.
Those people aren't cool.
He doesn't need closure.
Those are not.
Yeah, but he's also
he just sounds like a spy to me.
He does need closure. He's crying. He's drinking whiskey and smoking all night, every night.
He forgave her.
You need to have a conversation with the person who wronged you to clear the air.
They're gone. And so now he can just leave.
Not to get her back.
Just leave. Leave and go to a different country. Learn some things.
If you do what Riley said, as soon as you get back, all of your feelings are going to come back. You're going to be exactly where you were when you left.
With more tools of knowing different things about cultures.
Just face them now.
No.
The problem's not going to get any easier, and the problem's not going to change.
Do it later. Let her find out. Be cool.
We love a little bit of disagreement, don't we?
Be mysterious.
So
that's what you do best.
Let's see what the comments say. In regards to telling Helen, no, she's not your girlfriend anymore. You owe her nothing. How do I get closure? There is no closure. Yeah, because he's not talking to her. You did the right thing every step of the way. You're doing something that is obviously very healthy for you and will lead to new experiences. Anything you did in terms of interacting with her to seek closure will really just give her closure, which is, again, not your problem.
I like that one.
But clearly this guy's in need of closure. This is just another guy who got cheated on who's like, yeah, don't talk to her.
Nah, we red pilled this one.
In regards to, will my feelings come back? Have a great experience over there and make memories and make friends. Find lovers. This guys, did you not listen to him? He's not going to have any time for any of that.
They will.
This is a guy who works from 6 a.m. to midnight and then sleeps and wakes up and does it again.
Wait, did we forget about the spontaneous part with his partner? Dude, he's going to have maybe an hour.
That was before he got this job.
He's going to have an hour.
That was before he started working from 6:30 to 11:30.
He'll maybe have an hour and slip a banana peel. Dude.
He's not going to be doing that. Okay, so later, visit those friends and lovers if you feel like it. You're rebuilding your life, and this is a part of that process. When you come back, you'll be a new man, and your life here will seem better. And as far as engaging the betrayal, you've already done that brilliantly. Have I been too rash? Probably, but you know what? Forget it. Be rash. You're young. Have a effing ball over there.
Yeah.
He's not going to do that, though. He's just a workaholic. He's a workaholic guy.
Those work helps you get through things.
And again, all of my perspective here is not like what she deserves. It's more like, what does OP need? OP's like, I'm being tormented by these thoughts. What do I tell her? Do I tell her? Do I not? This is what you tell her. You tell her, hey, I'm leaving the country. Just wanted to give you the heads up. Nothing here is ever going to go back to the way it was. And have a nice rest of your life. That's all you need to say. And then you will feel like, okay, I've literally shut the book now. The book is closed. Comment 2 says, holy crap, don't say a word to her. You dated 6 years and have gone no contact. Imagine what she's going to do when she finds out you're not even in the same country anymore. She will go effing bonkers. Now, are you being rash? Yeah, but who gives a If I'd had an opportunity like this when I was cheated on 20 some odd years ago, I would have left in a heartbeat. Go have fun in your new city/job. Make new friends. See things you've never seen before. It won't be too long until this is all just a distant memory. Reply, I have to agree. In 10 years, when he's with his awesome new high-paying job that he's earned, beautiful wife he will meet, and with kids bopping around, you are not going to care one bit about closure with this woman. She will be a fleeting memory. Someone who tested your resolve and character and you passed. She will be known as a lesson for your future self, nothing more. I agree with all of this. Take her betrayal and use all of that negative energy to make yourself the most bad butt suave mother effer on the planet. She was not strong enough in character. You are. Find a woman who is, and there is an update. And I agree with all of this, but it's not about, everyone's ignoring everything OP said about how he is feeling right now.
Time out.
They're telling him how he should feel.
Okay, time out. Some MIA stuff. Spies don't have feelings. Oh, you didn't read that.
He is not a spy. He's not a spy.
Why would a spy be posting to Reddit, bro?
This guy's not a spy.
Dude, he doesn't have feelings, so it doesn't really matter what he's feeling. Plus,
he
he's gonna
does.
figure
What
it
do
out.
you
He's gonna be
mean?
great.
What did you just say?
He's
He
a
doesn't
spy.
have feelings for her?
No. He doesn't have feelings in general. He's a spy.
Okay, he did have feelings for her. This devastated him to a point where he became numb. And speaking from experience, when you just sit in numbness, you literally go stagnant. Like, you're not solving anything. So his concerns about, I get everyone's being like, you're better than her and you can move on, which is true. Like, you can. But if you just stick in the numbness and you don't acknowledge it and you don't move through it and get to the other side of it, in a year when you come back from this job, you're going to find yourself in the exact same emotional situation, the exact same emotional place that you were in before. Just tell her, be like, I'm gone, we're over still, and I want you to completely let go of this. Don't hold on to me because I'm letting go of you. Yeah. You say that out loud, you say that to her, and then you leave and have your life. But if you leave this completely unsaid and you have all these things in your heart that are unresolved, it's not going to get better.
See, I was so heartbroken once in my life where I thought, I was with someone. I was like, I'm going to marry them. I'm going to be with them forever. Had everything planned out. Didn't work out.
And did you go live in?
I went into spy mode. I went to spy mode. Went to the gym. Started working on myself. Went to other places. Got out of my comfort zone. And guess what? I'm here.
Did you date this person for 6 years?
I dated this person for 3.
That's not nothing, but I don't know. I've already said it. Let's get into the update. Firstly, thank you so much for all your support and kind words. It's made it a lot easier to keep doing the right thing, and I've taken on board so many of your comments. It really meant a lot, and I felt it more than I felt much in the past week or so. So, some of you may remember that I had some questions and that I was on my way to flying out to start a new life, which I never mentioned is in Africa. Stuff took some pretty funny turns since then, and I thought I'd update you. So, I am still not in Africa. I missed my flight after my cab was involved in a very minor collision. No one was hurt officially, but you can't get another cab quickly on the motorway. Luckily, I've got total insurance up to my eyeballs. I phoned my boss to tell him and was about to book flights for the weekend when my boss asked me to stay a few more days as he'd had an absolute tidal wave hit his desk. I'd do anything for this guy, so I obviously agreed and ended up deciding to stick around for Christmas to say goodbye to my family and give them a bit of time before I left for a year, that's nice and thoughtful. That's good. That's good. We didn't even think about that. We didn't even think about the other people in his life because we're thinking he's a spy with nobody else in his life.
Yeah, he's basically an orphan. This is his orphan family.
Mr. Bond?
Mm-hmm.
James Bond. My boss's secretary spent most of the week finding me a new flat, booking me immunizations, and generally sorting out my life to say thank you, which was really nice. So I haven't told her I'm leaving, and no contact has been maintained. A good friend said she managed to have a conversation with Helen and made clear that I'm serious about needing a significant period of silence between us. Helen is apparently handling it really badly, sobbing, having to have her friends look after her phone, etc., which I thought would make me happy, but it really doesn't.
Get out of your feelings, dude.
Because when we've loved somebody, we don't usually enjoy the fact that they're in misery, even if they've wronged us, because humans have hearts. There is one person I told, her father. Now, anyone else on here, I would strongly advise against breaking no contact for ex's family members, but you have to understand that I cannot not answer the phone for this man. I have so much respect for him, and we've spent a huge amount of time alone drinking his amazing whiskey collection and talking about things. He's given me a lot of vital support and counsel in my life, and I'd be much worse off without him. He wanted to know if I could ever forgive his daughter. I explained that there is no point in continuing now that the trust is fundamentally destroyed, and he apologized and accepted that. He actually told me I should think about getting myself away for some alone time and begged me to meet up with him in the city I work in. At this point, I told him where I'm going and asked him not to tell Helen until I'm gone. He promised he would honor my wishes, and that was enough for me. This man is old school. I also left some messages to pass on to family members clandestinely, another spy term, once I'm gone, because the whole family has been amazing to me. My time since has been much smoother than it could have been. I hit the gym a lot, rule number 1, and have spent at least 2 hours every night except Christmas sparring with my brother. He is a spy. This guy's a spy.
I told you, bro.
I've caught up with old friends before I leave and spent a lot of time with my family. We managed to complete the business that landed on my boss's desk, and he took me for an incredible goodbye meal with himself and his wife, which was nice. It was some unlimited meat joint, which makes me wonder why all things aren't unlimited meat.
Spy.
Nice. My own mood has been promising. For a few days, there was a concerning intensity of numbness, but keeping myself busy really helped me feel normal again. I can't stress enough to everyone out there how important it is to get up and do stuff rather than wallowing. It changes your whole mindset and makes everything so much easier. In terms of other plans, I've already signed up to a Muay Thai gym out there and managed to find an old training partner who's working in the same city. So I've organized a meetup. My plan is to just treat this a bit like a year out at university. Work hard, yeah, but I'm going to get as much out of the experience as I can. I plan to blow all the money I was saving for Helen's birthday holiday. Thank you to everyone who assured me that there are some people you can trust out there, but I think at least for a while, I'm going to have to be single. I'm thinking of going to get some help because I know that functionally I'll be single for at least a year. And I don't want distrust to become my default setting. Went to see my old psych about my depression flaring up, who thought I was doing really well considering the circumstances, so yay. I'm looking forward to my new life so much, and I feel much better about my ability to use it as a new start rather than just running away and hiding my feelings. I might write Helen a letter one day to get some answers to some questions, but I'm still undecided and probably wouldn't go ahead with it until I'm sure I'm on the way to recovery. To everyone out there, follow the advice on here. Keep yourself busy and stick with no contact. The whole next year is about me, and I'm excited about what I can produce. Thank you, everyone, and good luck. And there are there was a comment, but let's just go into the second update, which I already know what you think, Riley.
He's a spy.
No, yes, he's a spy. But about like the way he was talking, where he was like, I want the book to be closed. I want to make sure I'm not running away from my feelings. And everyone was just like, keep not talking to her and just run away. I don't agree with that. I think that there's a way he could have been like, and it's not, I don't think you should ask questions. I don't think you need to be like, why did you cheat? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? You need to just be laying out, hey, these are the things that are happening. I'm leaving. We're literally done forever. I guess I wish you the best-ish, whatever. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't come over to my house. We're done. That's what you got to do. That's what you could do. And I feel like that would give you the,
Okay. You can get that. Or you can cause her as much pain as you can. You go all the way to a different country. You don't say a word to her. You disappear off the map. She has no idea where you ever went. Could do that.
Or you could do that, I guess.
Yep, that's some spy stuff right there.
And I'm sure that won't bother you at all.
Nope, because he's gonna be behind the bottle. He's gonna be punching harder at Muay Thai, and he's gonna be so much cooler and better.
Update number 2.
He's Tom Cruise.
I'm back in the UK.
What did I say?
For a few weeks, visiting some old friends and family and my old boss.
He came to see Q, bro. He came to see Q.
Old boss? Come on.
This guy's James Bond.
Come on.
This guy's James Bond.
He's a spy. I'll say it. So I thought I'd write an update. As some of you might have read, 4 months ago, I broke up with my ex after she cheated on me. This spurred me to accept a job offer in Africa, and the rest is history.
Wait, is this just the entire plot of just
Is this Casino Royale?
Is this Casino Royale?
Is this just Casino Royale?
Probably, dude.
Is this guy? This is just Casino Royale.
I'm telling you, I knew it from the beginning.
That's actually really funny. We both thought that at the same time. I was like, wait a minute.
Wait.
Firstly, Africa is the most incredible continent in the world. I'm based in Tanzania, but I've been fortunate enough to do a lot of traveling. The new job is incredible. I got some crazy experience. Got my own driver and secretary. Not a spy. Spies spies drive themselves. He's lying to us right now. He's saying he had a driver and a secretary, so he won't know he's a spy, but he's a spy. We see through you. Dang it. So I got some crazy experience, got my own driver and secretary, making some really big differences here. And I think accepting this job was the best decision of my life. I'd be sad to leave at the end of the year. In terms of how I'm dealing with the breakup, this has been the perfect way to deal with it. It's hard to wallow for too long when you're riding around dirt roads and are sat with new friends, sharing adult soda and looking at the most stunning natural beauty you'll find anywhere. One of the perks of the job is that we work closely with NGOs, non-government organizations, who send out lots of aid workers and volunteers around my age who are still looking to have a good time. I'm still single, and it's been great to recapture my youth, go out and be free, making some new life experiences. On another thread, someone said that at the start of every good story or adventure, something like what happened to me must occur to expose myself and make me a bit braver than I would have been. I loved that. Helen has really just been the first half of a paragraph in a story that's been so enjoyable and invigorating. Here is the breakup corn that I had to update you all on. This is proof that no matter how bad it is now, things can change, and once you heal, the dynamics of power can fundamentally shift in an instant. I've maintained no contact with Helen. I've been updated by some friends that after she found out I left, she asked all my friends if they know my African number. She's blocked from all email, social media, and my phone, and has been living with her parents for months now, having decided to spend some time on her own. Bear in mind, I've not seen her since this all started or spoken to her. When I landed in London a few days ago, guess who was waiting for me in arrivals? Apart from my mom, of course, it was Helen. She came from nowhere, kind of looked at me, and started crying. I was kind of speechless, to be honest. Helen had seen the flight details I'd posted on the wall of a mutual friend and taken a 4-hour train down to London to ask me to take her back. Bear in mind, this entire time, my mom is hovering in the background. I told Helen nothing had changed, thanked her for coming. I was genuinely touched by whatever this display was, and gave her some money to get a cab home, partially because she was a wreck and partly because I wanted to make myself feel superior.
Spy stuff right there. Spy stuff.
That was a little spyish. I don't know. At this point, it really struck me how much everything had changed. I definitely still have some feelings for Helen, but they're couched much more reflectively. I felt extreme pity for her at that moment, and I don't think I've ever felt so sure that being on my own is what's best for me. And by the way, I know what's best for you, and it's if you would listen to full episodes with stories like this on your podcast platform of choice, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get them. Just search OK Storytime, and you can find the whole catalog to browse through. So before we get into the last tail end of the story here, I just have to say,
dude,
okay,
bro won the breakup.
Like, sure, he won, and it's like she was all distraught and stuff, and he like wasn't, although, you know, he was like, I was genuinely touched, but like, I think if before you left, you just told her, we're done forever. Like, I need you to soak that in. We are never getting back together on some T-Swift type stuff. And by not saying that, I feel like you kind of set yourself up for this moment now. But it seems like you've navigated it properly. So let's just get to the end here. Thanks for all the support. Some of the advice I received on here has made a huge difference to how I've spent the last 4 months. For those of you just starting your journey, it gets better. Maintain no contact, look after yourself, and go to the gym and make time to meet new people. I recommend taking yourself out all your own. It helps you figure out who you are and what you lost. Thanks all. And that is the end.
And then you got to play the James Bond theme after that. You got to go da-na, na.
Wow. That was probably my favorite story we've read this month.
And then after that, you maintain no contact.
Here you go.
Yep.
Okay.
Here you go. Right.
After you go, we're done forever, no more, never, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Going to Africa. Then they do the no contact. You just get that one moment where you are allowed to go, where right now you were holding on, and then you could just go like that. And now you're done.
Yep.
You've officially let go.
Dude, you figured it out, and I'm so proud of you. OP.
And I want you to know that if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you, and see you tomorrow.